Oh, wait. I forgot. I have Disney Princess juice. I don't need water yet. I went to get the water, but it's too early for the water. Hello, and to whom this may concern. It's a chill stream. Oodie. You know how it is. Actually, you know what that's going to require? A couple of Oodies. Chat, just because I can. I want to use my emojis more. They're fun. It's a bit toasty still. Let's let that chill out a little bit. Mic's on, everything's recording. Yay! Yay. Okay. I got a couple of trailers and teasers for both movies and games queued up for me to catch up on. Outside of that, I'm just gonna wing it. We'll see. I really enjoyed doing the tier list around Christmas. I might look for another one. Something that would interest me. Just for fun. Because that's kind of enjoyable. I dug it. I dug the process. Keeps the OCD brain simmering. Although I take it a bit too seriously, so I mull over some choices a bit too much, like it actually matters. Man, I gotta stop sipping that while it's still so hot. Good lord. Fuck. Keep on randomly clicking shit on my screen. Okay. My New Year's Eve one-man band video is a bit late. It's meant to be up on my YouTube already. I've just had some technical problems. Which I'm still sipping this way too hot coffee. I've had some technical problems that I haven't had the time to suss out properly because I keep having to get wrapped up in other editing work, which is lame. But I'm hoping by next weekend it'll be dusted off, so I could also rush through finishing my my last year's April Fool's video, which is so fucking late. It's already the next year. I can't believe it. I don't know how I get so wrapped up in stuff that things fall on the wayside like that. I even have a cooking video that's... How long? I started that like a year and a half ago. And it's just, I've been dragged away from it and can never finish it. I feel bad. I feel bad about it. Luckily, I don't really have a YouTube following, so it doesn't matter too much. I'm not really letting anyone down. So that's the silver lining with that one. The joys of being unknown. Things don't really matter as much. Even though if you've got an organized OCD brain, it still fucks you a little bit. Anyway, let's kick off some of this crap. What is interesting here? What is interesting here? How about I just bring it up onto this screen, like so, and we just go through some stuff. Let me switch. Hi. I need to find the spot. I need to move the mic, as usual. Need to be offset a little bit. Excuse me. Beg your pardon. That was foul. Get another sip. Fucking juiced. All right. Come on, Mike. Line up. Line up, line up. Okay. I say... Mandalorian. Let's actually arrange stuff. TV shows. Games. Muffy. Muffy, come down. Don't know what Swallowed or Underbug is. Game. Moofy. Yeah, alright. Good stuff. I guess I'm going to check out The Mandalorian Season 3 trailer just because I'm so behind on the Star Wars stuff on Disney Plus, man. I really should watch The Mandalorian, but I don't know. That's why I still watch these trailers and that. Hoping for the motivation to get on board. There's only so much time though, man. What is with life? There's not enough time in the day or the night. We need to eliminate sleep and increase our lifespans somehow so we can get through all this crap. Alright, Mando.
Our people are...
Yep, we're getting sound. Good. Whoop. Hello.
Our people are scattered like stars in the galaxy. What are we? What do we stand for?
Merchandise, product sales. Basically, that's about it.
Mandalorians are not just learning about how to fight. You also have to know how to navigate the galaxy. That way, you'll never be lost.
What is that thing called again? It was in Star Wars. Fuck. Salacious Crumb. I don't know what the alien species name is, but I know that thing in Jabba's palace is called Salacious Crumb. I'll look that up later.
I'm going to Mandalore.
Man, this looks so good.
So that I may be forgiven for my transgressions.
May the Force be with you!
This is the way.
Slightly out of
Something
context,
dangerous
this is the
happening
way.
out there. And by the time it becomes big enough for you to act, it'll be too late.
Jedis. We got Jedis up in here. I thought the whole point of the Mandalorian TV shows and that it was the oh, that's a good shot. Fucking hell. That got me hyped.
This is the way.
Grogu gonna do some shit? Yeah, Grogu. What was I saying? Oh yeah, I thought the Mandalorian type shows were about the seedy underbelly of Star Wars. I'm a little shocked to see a bunch of Jedi turning up. Like the whole point was to do away with the Jedi Sith magic side of shit and deal with the gritty underworld stuff. Maybe I have a feeling that wait, where is that shot? Hold up. Full screen it. Where are they at? There they are. I have a feeling this is like final episode shenanigans. They're gonna have like one major sequence to cap off the whole season. Bring in a bunch of Jedi or something. Although it looks like the Jedi are being hunted. I think someone's cutting through that door to get to them. Like post-Order 66 shit. It is cause for concern. You don't want to mix in your Jedi crap in your underbelly shows. Like your Andor and your Mandalorian stuff. Your Mandalorian, what's the bounty hunter's name? Boba Fett. Like that should be its own corner where we don't deal with the magic stuff as much. No lightsabers or space wizards. Just underworld criminals and ne'er-do-wells. I like that word. Ne'er-do-well's a good word. Hell yeah. I mean, it's just every time I see one of these trailers, season 1, season 2, season 3, I get psyched to watch the show and I never get around to it. Man, I hate life. Why does time have to be a thing? I want to be able to pause time, do a thing, like watch the entirety of a Mandalorian season, start time back up, go on with my life. So it doesn't take up, like, anything. Games, TV shows, movies, just pause, do the thing, start her up again. What a concept. Either that or deactivate the brain's need for sleep. If science can get on that, I would be stoked. I would absolutely love that. I am sick and tired of sleep. I don't enjoy it. When I wake up, I feel like shit. When I'm tired and I want to go to bed, I feel like shit. Who enjoys sleep? Actually, a lot of people enjoy sleep, to be honest. I think I'm alone on that one. Fair enough. Okay. What else is interesting? That's season 3 of Mandalorian. There's also a season 3 of Animaniacs, which I found a bit shocking because even though I didn't hear bad things about Animaniacs reboot, return, I didn't hear good things either. In fact, nobody seems to ever talk about it at all. So I'm a bit surprised they made it to season 3 while hearing jack shit about the franchise, but okay. I used to watch this when I was younger. I loved it. Some good shit. Look up on YouTube the adult jokes in the original Animaniacs. There's some pretty saucy shit for children. Like, you'd be surprised. There's a Prince joke, which is basically a joke about giving Prince a hand job that is literally in a kid's show. It's kind of amazing. Also, Warner Brothers is going to kick my ass with copyright strikes for watching this on my channel, but oh, whatever.
Come on, kids. Security breach! Yay!
I think I know where this is going.
I don't, so no spoilers.
The popcorn is massive.
Any bright ideas how to break out of here?
Ideally, in a way that parodies classic movies that's fun for both kids and their parents.
You know, I think
Say there's a lot of
Warner Brothers missed a step with their
fury on this
Animaniacs
road.
franchise.
Consider yourself unfriended, Pinky.
You mean in real life or on Chatstagram?
Both.
Sad no.
I think when I saw some negative feedback for this on Twitter originally, when the first season came out.
Is going to be off the hook.
Hang on, pause that for a sec. It seemed to be that people weren't jiving with, I used the word jiving, with the more modern pop culture and political humor, which is unfortunate because the original had that as well, but it was like a time capsule of pop culture and politics of that time. So when you watch the new Animaniacs and it's stuff about now, it's stuff about like Trump or it's stuff about modern technology and social media, it comes off as hokey for some reason, even though they're doing the exact same thing now they did back then, but they can't do the same jokes and have the same vibe as they had back then because we're not then anymore. Like, that shit wouldn't make sense. Animaniacs has always been about satire of the now. And they have a nostalgia for it where in their brains, it's set in that time period. So when you see it set in this time period, I think it fucks with people. And they don't like it. They get that creepy crawly feeling in their skin. It's greasy, like it just, something doesn't feel right. It's one of the reasons why rebooting and bringing old things back is not always a good idea.
You can't do this to us. We have more episodes to star in.
Because it has to adapt, but then people don't like the ways it adapts. Or that it adapts at all. And it's a fucked if you do, fucked if you don't situation.
Brain out. All right, now how do I end the call? I can't find the... Wait.
Totally insane. Excessive spit takey. We can't just do the same thing every time. After 2 whole seasons, the fans deserve something fresh. Sort of
They're
like
kind of commenting on it right now.
Nerve point.
Alright. I mean, if I watched it, I think I'd still find it funny. It's just, I feel like I'd give it its chance. I'd find it funny probably. But I feel like I'd also still get that slightly creepy crawly vibe of it being out of time and it feeling hokey for commenting on now things. I think the thing I hear the most is like the jokes they make that are like relevant the moment they write it are like immediately dated. But if you're satirizing pop culture, that's automatically going to be the case. Like the original Animaniacs is dated in a lot of ways because it's about the things back then. But somehow we cherish that shit. Like a time capsule in our brains. But when it's new, it's like, ugh. No. Oh, hey, Minx. Thank you for the Biscoff. I will have this. Oh, when you messaged me back and said, it sucks that I missed this or whatever, I think you said. I forgot to ask you which one you meant. Because I sent you 2 links in a row. I wasn't sure if you meant me playing the drum game or what was the other thing I sent? What? How have I forgotten this? Oh, the one from Danganronpa, the fingering comment. Because both of those, because I realized when you said I'm sad I missed it, that both of those links I sent you were 2 moments that are the kind of stuff that you always clip. Me singing stupid made-up songs and me saying something that out of context would be really dirty or weird. It's both your 2 favorite things. Oh, the princess juice. It goes so nice with Biscoff too. Yum. The dog. Yeah, because I hadn't been in the clip section for a little while, so I went through and I just clicked on some stuff that I wasn't sure what they were. Because I'm not always on top of what's being clipped. Like, I don't always, at the end of my stream, go see what all the clips were. I like just forget about stuff. So I wasn't sure what the clips from Windjammers were going to be, and that one made me laugh. It really took me by surprise. Oh, shit. Why is it so hot? Ah. You know what's sad? I never ended up being able to get the achievement for that dog minigame. Which is a damn shame. It wasn't worth pursuing anymore. By the time I'd completed all the character endings, and I still didn't have that achievement, the only way I could still get that achievement at that point would be if I completely played through character campaigns again from the start in order to get to that minigame, which was like right before the final match. And it just wasn't worth spending the kind of time to play through an entire tournament. All of an entire tournament, bar the final match, just to take one crack at the dog game and fail. And then have to start at the beginning again. That was kind of rough. I kind of wish that maybe after beating a tournament once, or maybe after beating all the tournaments with every character, I kind of wish maybe they had an unlock in the game modes where you got to actually like play the mini games separate from the tournament mode just for fun. I think that would have been nice of them. But you can't complain about difficulty or the elusiveness of an achievement, because that's the point of it being an achievement. If it was easy to get, it's not really worth as much as an achievement, you know what I mean? So I feel bad about whinging about it. Like, the harder it is to get, the more unlikely you are to be able to get it. Technically, the better of achievement it is. Like, theoretically. I mean, that's what an achievement is supposed to mean. It should be stuff like beat the final level of Call of Duty's campaign on Veteran with only using the knife or some stupid shit. Stuff that very few people can pull off. Okay. Bloop. Yes, Animaniacs. I would love to watch that one day. If I ever get the time to do anything with my life. Balls. What else? Ooh. Ooh. I think this is a Stan Lee documentary. In which case, I am so down. Stan the man. Aw. Oh man, that's not much of a trailer, but just the soaring music and seeing shots from his Marvel cameos is enough to make you want to tear up. There we go. Coffee done. It's amazing how much emotion you can get out of just showing Stanley's face for a few seconds with some orchestral music. I feel feels now. I feel Stan feels. Makes me laugh when you get an achievement, which always going to get. Clear chapter 1. Yeah, there's a lot of games that have a press the start button on the main menu. Like start the game kind of achievements. The drum game is funny like that. Taiko no Tsujin, is that how it's pronounced? That I was playing the other day. The drum game has like 90 achievements, which is a massive amount of achievements. Obviously only worth a small amount of game score each. But the reason there's so many is that there's an achievement for everything in the entire game. It's absurd. There's an achievement for starting the game. There's an achievement for watching the tutorial. There's an achievement for reading the tutorial pop-ups, which pop up after the tutorial. There's an achievement for seeing the results screen for the first time at the end of a level. There's an achievement for playing a song for the first time in every single category, like anime song, video game song, classical, pop. Every one of those has got its own achievement for playing for the first time. There's an achievement for looking at the controller calibration menu. There's an achievement for calibrating the controller. I could keep going. Literally anything you can think of. The smallest things, it has an achievement. And then a whole bunch of grindy store. Like, I swear half of the 90 achievements are grindy store achievements. Like, buy your first 5 songs, buy 10 songs, buy 15 songs, buy 20 songs, buy your first nameplate, which is just the picture label that your name and score goes on. Buy 5 nameplates, buy 10 nameplates, buy 15 nameplates. Buy a title, like Seankichu, the Great Drum Master. They have all these titles you can attach to your name. Buy 5, buy 10, buy 15, buy 20, buy 25. Buy your first 5, 10, 15, 20 hat pieces. Buy your first 5, 10, 15, 20 body costume pieces. Buy your first 5, 10, 15, 20 buddies, which are like little pets that sit next to your avatar while you play the drums. Buy your first instrument. 5, 10, 15, 20 like increments. Buy your first drum sound. You can change the sound the drum makes when you hit it. So it can make fart noises or cat and dog sounds. Buy your first 5 of those. Buy your first 10, 15, 20. Like so many of the achievements are gotten just from spending all the money in the store. I have achievement PTSD. Well, the thing is, I started the game with the intention of not achievement hunting it because it was stupidly grindy to the point of not being worth it. And I was like, let me just spend one night just playing the game for fun and trying all the songs. But what I realized was, if you do a little bit of research in the forums, there is a way to achievement haul the game that's incredibly cheesy. You can scum your way through the thing. Because since half of them are based on earning money from playing the game to spend in that store, both money increments, I think the highest one is 87,900 coins is the highest earn this amount of money achievement, and there's a bunch below that. And then the rest are all buying stuff in stores. There is a scum method where they're like, you might get 100 coins for beating a song, but you get 10 coins for failing a song. So the trick is, you put the game on insta-fail, so the second you miss even one note, it fails the level. And then you use an auto-clicker. You set up an auto-clicker on your laptop or computer, which just automatically clicks for you. and you place it over the part of the screen where the retry button pops up. So basically, your auto clicker hits retry, the level starts, you fail on the very first note, results screen gives you 10 coins for failing. Your auto clicker hits retry, plays it again. So every 10 seconds-ish, you're earning 10 coins just from the game playing itself and failing rapidly. Which is not as much coins as 100 coins, but if it takes 3 to 4 minutes to play through a whole song, but only to get 100, and it only takes 10 seconds to fail and get 10, I can go to bed and leave my computer failing on its own and wake up to like tens of thousands of gold coins after the game's played itself all night. And I've actually let the game do that for the last 2 nights in a row. So I'm going to let it do that for a couple more nights. And then I'm going to play the game again and just spend all that money and rake in like all the achievements. I probably will do another stream of playing it. Because the game comes with like 55 songs, which is what I played the other night on stream. You can buy another 20-something songs in the store. So I might do another stream of it next week of just finishing off that achievement whoring for the fun of it and spending all the store money and playing around in the store. And then maybe for the rest of the stream just playing the 20 songs extra, the bonus songs that I unlock. Should be kind of fun. Why not? You know, if you play that game legit, if you legit try to play the game properly and want to get all the achievements, the achievement time average is about 80-something hours. It would take you to do that. So that's why originally I was like, fuck that. Hell no. We ain't doing that around here. 80 hours of just that 2-button drumming game would kind of drive you a little crazy. That's not a commentary on the quality of the game, by the way. Like, the game is great. But honestly, there's not enough going on to grind for 80 hours. You'll literally fall asleep at your keyboard. Bleep. Wait, when does that Stan Lee documentary come out? Shit, I forgot to look. Is there a date at the end? 2023. That's vague. The fact that it's a Stan Lee documentary made by Disney on Disney Plus kind of tells me that it might not be a warts and all documentary. It might just be like a tribute that's all like positive to pull the heartstrings and play the baby violin, which works on me. They did a after the pandemic, they did a Marvel Coming Back to the Cinemas trailer, which had a bunch of Stan Lee stuff in it, and it teared me up just seeing that. So I'm a sucker for it. But to be fair, Stan Lee has got some slightly dirty business dealings in his past about licensing and screwing over other creators and just some general cutthroaty business practices when he was younger. And I have a feeling we're probably not going to be hearing about any of that in the Disney Plus Stan Lee documentary, which is a shame. I like warts and all. If you can handle hearing about the darker sides of a human being, maybe not even darker, just the less flattering stuff, without it coloring your perception of them. Because all human beings are, you know, they got multitudes. It's not a case of saints versus, oh, you did this one thing once, well, now you're a piece of shit. You know what I mean? Like, you can be a great person and be renowned and love a particular celebrity or what have you, without them having to be squeaky clean. Depends on what they did. I mean, if it's someone with some weird, if it's someone with some like sexual assault allegations, then maybe that's a step too far. But if they're just slightly imperfect and have some examples in their past of being a little bit selfish or being a little bit greedy, maybe. I mean, that's just human beings. Everyone's an arsehole at some point. Depends on what it was, how long it went, and did they change? Yeah, exactly. It's like how everyone at one point on all the conservatives at one point tried to dogpile on James Gunn for stuff about his past, but like he has a past of in his teens to like early to mid 20s of being like an internet provocateur, an edgelord, I think they call them, where he'd just make bad jokes on Twitter, or because they were all about making those trauma films, which are all about being like offensive and not politically correct. That's the kind of black humor they were dealing with that. And those are also like straight to DVD trash kind of movies. So he comes from a particular background of edgelording. So when you dig up old tweets where he makes like a stupid pedo joke, or some kind of off-color politically incorrect joke, just for the sake of like riling people up on Twitter to draw attention to their latest trauma film that is equally as offensive. It's like, man, that was a particular age and a particular point in time and a particular kind of career that he was fostering. Very different from what he's doing now. The two don't really equate. But conservatives love doing that, though. That's like that's one of the things that they in their arsenal that they just can't stop. They just can't stop with the whole digging up something from 20, 25 years in someone's past and going, look what you did back then. What do you have to say about this? And it's like, I don't know. I was being a dickhead. Like, even at the time, I knew I was being a dickhead. I opened Twitter and I was like, you know what? I'm going to type this just to be a cunt and laugh about it. And now 20 years later, some Karen is trying to hold you to task for it and get you cancelled. And it's like, man, yes, I was an asshole, but I kind of was doing it on purpose. I knew I was being. It's not like I actually did anything to anybody. I wonder if I went through my Twitter past, if I'd find something like something where I'd be like, oh, look at that stupid joke I made. I don't even know what I was thinking at the time. It's possible. I've only been on Twitter for maybe 3 to 4 years, but that's enough years to be able to look back and maybe find a tweet you don't even remember doing, but being like, I don't know what I was doing. Sometimes it's not worth being successful. Because everyone lives, I feel like everyone lives life on a very equal playing field until you get lifted up in the public eye. The second you have a spotlight shone on you and you get lifted up as someone special, enough to be called a celebrity and everyone to know your name, all of a sudden there's all this skepticism and critique of your past and things you've said or posted or did that is not really that different from anything anyone else does. But now all of a sudden it's an issue because you're in the spotlight and it can be pointed out and pointed to. 17-year-old me and 33-year-old me are different people in certain things. Yeah, we all are. Some of us haven't changed that much, but at the same time, there are things that have changed for the better. There's things that change for the worst, maybe. All of the above. But I just feel like people in the public eye, even though it's not really, it feels stupid to feel bad for them because, like, they got way more than we do. If you find yourself in that position, you've got the kind of clout and are making the kind of money that makes you kind of, like, fairly immune to it because, like, oh, that sucks, but I'm successful, so what are you going to do? But I do feel a little bad for them because they can't really control how much people dogpile on them for every tiny little thing, even though it's like anyone that's dogpiling on a celebrity, I would say there but for the grace of God go you. Which I think is a saying that fits the situation perfectly. Because it's very easy to be anonymous and dogpile on someone in the spotlight, but if I suddenly thrust you into the spotlight, man, there's going to be plenty of stuff that people are going to be saying the exact same stuff about you about, or even worse. Like, no one is a squeaky clean saint, or hasn't said some dumb shit, or something that could be misconstrued, or has like some naked picture out there that got out for some stupid accidental reason, or you take your pick. We're all living our lives out here. You can't control everything. Just we need to stop taking each other to task for the stuff that slips through the cracks, or the ways that we have failed or slipped up. because we all do. I like. It's like what you were saying. It depends on what they did or whether they changed. It's like when you look at someone like Kevin Spacey, it's like, okay, he committed crimes and he acted like a massive weirdo about it. It's not like he really apologized to anybody or even paid for any of it. So it's kind of like, fuck that guy. But at the same time, there are other people like, I think Armie Hammer is a good example. Armie Hammer has copped a lot over the last year and something. For what essentially comes down to like people kink shaming him. Because he didn't assault or harass anyone. He didn't actually commit any cannibalism. He just had like some kind of weird sex talk fetish for the girls that he was sleeping with or dating. They would like DM their sexy talk, you know, their phone sex type stuff, and he would just say some weird shit about like how like wanted to bite into them or whatever. But that was stuff that was happening in the middle of like consenting adult private DM sex talk between them of women that he was legitimately dating or seeing or flirting with or whatever. He thought he was in a safe space regardless of how weird it may seem. That's the thing though. I'm not saying that it's not weird to have like a bit of fetishism in your brain for like cannibalistic stuff. Yeah, sure, that's kind of weird. It's not common. But at the same time, it's still, well, he's not doing anything illegal. Like, there are people who like to roleplay in the bedroom being vampires, you know, or whatever. It's like, that's cool. You're not actually biting someone, drinking their blood, and killing them, and leaving their discarded corpse of a husk in an alleyway somewhere. You're not actually being a vampire. You're role-playing vampire shit because you find it sexy in the bedroom. Like, someone might find that weird. To other people, it's like, oh yeah, it's kind of hot. But that's your deal. That's behind closed doors. You do you. That's how I felt about the whole Armie Hammer thing. I'm like, until you tell me or show me evidence that he actually ate somebody, the man's just being kink shamed, as far as I'm concerned. And he was put on blast because a bunch of girls that he'd flirted with or dated or had some sexual relations with kind of put him out there by releasing the DMs to the public after the fact. And it's like, that seems kind of skeevy to me. It's like, why are you putting this man's business out here? You were willingly flirting or sleeping with him. You engaged in the weird sex talk, or at least allowed him to, you know, do it. Because, you know, clearly it was getting him off, so whatever, roll with it. But then after the fact, you put the DMs, the screenshots out, and point at them and laugh, and hey, everyone look at this freak. Yeah, like, and there doesn't seem to be any evidence of any of them saying that's not my thing, or this creeps me out. I don't want to hear this, or I don't want to roleplay this. Like, no one ever said anything like that. They just kind of played along vaguely, or let him say it, and then they put screenshots of the text out after the fact. And I was like, that just kind of makes me feel bad about the whole situation. I mean, don't kink shame someone unless you're perfectly fine with releasing information on your own kinks that you know that conservatives are going to think are weird, but that you know gets you off. I'm sure we've all got something that's a little bit like, why does that turn me on? I'm not even sure. I can't even tell you, but maybe it's something unpredictable like doorknobs. He was chatting to a guy who wanted a threesome with him and his mum. Absolutely declined. Didn't share the DMs, just to the experience. Well, see, that's the thing. It's like, you might be disgusted by the thought of what he said, but there's no reason to treat him like he's suddenly some kind of sex criminal for... Like, there are literally people out there with, like, incestuous fetishes, whether it's, like, brother-sister stuff or whether it's weird, like, daddy-daughter, mother-son stuff. Like, that stuff exists. There's whole categories for that on Pornhub now. It's a thing. You don't have to get it. Like, kinks don't exist for you to get. They exist for the people who already do get them. You know what I mean? Like, if there's no way you can wrap your head around it, and it just absolutely disgusts you, then that's cool. That's you. Also, if you, I mean, at the same time, like if he was the kind of guy that got offended by you not wanting to have a bar of it and tried to hold that against you and made a big deal out of it, then he'd be in the wrong. Because, like, he should know he's got a very niche fetish. So there should be no expectation that someone else is going to get it or want to be involved in it. So there's nothing wrong with putting the feelers out and finding and testing the waters to see if someone wants to engage in stuff like that with you. But, like, don't get self-conscious and defensive about it if they're not feeling it. Just take a step back and be like, yeah, all right, okay, cool. It's a thing that I've got in my head, but I can see that you're not feeling it. Moving on, something else. Clean slate. He'll find his people someday. They're out there. What's funny though is when you're talking to particularly conservative people, their barometer for what's considered gross or a kink or too far is sometimes like hilariously out of whack. Like you'll see them respond or discuss something sexual, and what they consider to be like kinky or too far will be something like kind of mad vanilla by 2023 standards. And you'll be like, Jesus, Karen, like, wait till you find out what's going on out there. I knew a girl that there were a bunch, like, we were in a group setting and all the girls are talking about sexual stuff. And I remember her going on about how how disgusted she was by the idea of giving a guy head during sex. As in, like, once you've, like, done a bit of penetration, like, going back to the oral. You know what I mean? And she thought that was, like, so freaky. And I remember there were a couple other girls in the group who I knew were, you know, little dirtier-minded type girls. And I remember just sort of side-eyeing, seeing the looks on their faces. Like, you can see them, like, trying to bite their lip or trying not to high roll. Of just, like, this basic bitch here. I think I remember that same girl once talking about anal as if it was, like, this mad kinky thing. And it's like, dude, it's the 2020s. That's not even a kink anymore. That's just another position. There's missionary, there's doggy style, and there's anal. There's no one even gives a shit anymore. Dudes are doing that now. Straight dudes are doing that shit now. Like, good lord. If you take me aside and whisper in my ear, like, do you know that there's people, like, doing anal and enjoying anal? I'd just be like, all right, I'm out. I can tell the rest of this night's going to be super boring. What a weird comment. How did we get on that topic? Oh, good. The aircon's starting to kick in. My Oodie is particularly cushy tonight. Oh yeah, of course. We somehow went from Stan Lee to anal sex. I can see the through line. Amazing. He'd be rolling in his grave, Mr. Wholesome himself. Whoops. What is interesting? Carnival Row. Okay. I watched Carnival Row back when the first season came out on Amazon, and I was actually pretty impressed. And now, like, years later, they're suddenly making a season 2, which boggles my mind slightly, but I'm not going to complain. Oh, mad, mad, mad. Orlando Bloom and Cara Delevingne. I don't know if you've seen Carnival Row before. In a nutshell, it's like a period fantasy piece that takes place in what seems to be like a 1800s London, but if fantasy creatures like fairies and fauns existed and were integrated with daily life. And if you watch the first season, you will get a rather explicit and quite erotic sex scene between Orlando Bloom and Cara Delevingne as a human and fairy, respectively. There's a great shot when she's when they're in the I don't know what you call it. You know, the sitting position where the guy's sitting and the girl's like sitting in his lap and rocking, where her fairy wings unfold while they're having sex from the sitting position, and it's a good shot. It's a really good shot. That's wallpaper worthy. I wouldn't be surprised if this show created a couple of new fetishes in people that watched it. Maybe a few new furries.
It's nice to see you again, Inspector. We're in a bit of a spot. Thought maybe you could help. He was stationed on a supply train that got robbed last night. Only one type of creature I know that could fly him up there.
Fairies.
You think a pix did this?
Who else?
I'm not police. Not anymore.
I mean, he's right, because we just saw the scene of it happening. So spoilers from the trailer.
It is my duty to send a message to any Twitch considering sedition.
Jesus Christ.
Gift from the Chancellor to the
That was a
fine
really
people
cool
of the
guillotine.
Executed without even a trial, innocent men.
The world's falling apart and we can't just sit at home and do nothing.
What have you got in mind?
Rebellion. Or more fairies.
Take a closer look at what you're doing to us. I thought if we were peaceful, they'd show us mercy. But now we know the truth.
That's what Martin Luther
If
King
they
was all
shoot at
about.
us, nail our heads against a wall. They will pay for it in their own blood.
If you go after them, they'll come for all of us.
I wonder if there's going to have themes of that whole era of black civil rights in America. The Martin Luther King versus Malcolm X ways of seeing
They should be afraid of us.
the issue. Because you've got one side calling for, like, we need to be the bigger men, we need to be peaceful and show them we're not monsters. But then that just gives the humans, like, more free reign to fuck with them and be violent because they don't get any pushback. Whereas Malcolm X was like the opposite of like, nah, they're push, we push harder. We don't show our bellies to the people that are abusing us, kind of stuff. And they were both right. They were both right, and they were both maybe slightly naive in how hardcore they were for their own way of thinking of the situation. Although people seem to always lean more towards Martin Luther King's thoughts on the whole matter. Like, they always make that comparison of Professor X and Magneto. Like, Magneto is generally painted as the villain in that scenario for antagonizing when he should be trying to bring everyone together, which is what Professor X is doing. But in the real world, it's not that simple. Like, Malcolm X had a point. In a lot of ways, his methods were more effective. But at the same time, it was a bit aggressive as well. And the most racist of the other side of the equation were kind of like emboldened by some of Martin Luther King's rhetoric and tactics. They literally were like, yeah, look at what they're doing now because we let them have freedoms and stuff. You know, it's a fucking mess, man. I'm glad I'm not some kind of political talking figurehead of any kind of movement. I wouldn't know what the fuck to do with myself. Do we starve ourselves and kneel before the rolling tanks, or do we throw Molotov cocktails through the windows of government buildings? I don't know. Let's stay home and eat Biscoff. How about that? There's a plan I can get behind. It's a good show, though. I just don't ever see anyone talking about it. I'm just glad Cara Delevingne and Orlando Bloom are getting work, because I'm not seeing them in many movies either. And they're great. I love them. What else have I missed out on? What else have I missed out? Scream 5? 6? Holy shit, it's 6. I thought we were up to 5. Okay. Sure. Why not? I don't know. I gotta admit, I don't really care about Scream anymore as a franchise. Not for the last couple. Everyone's kicking off about a race issue, President Sean. Do you know there are people out there who do anal? Wait, is this the pandering version of Sean the President, who's pretending to be all conservative? Clutching my pearls on live television. Did you know there are people that do anal? But sir, there's literally footage of you in a Russian hotel letting 2 Russian women piss on you. I'm like, no, there isn't. Go to the Trump school of politics. Just deny. Just make up your own truths. Apparently it works. There's at least like 50 million people that'll believe you just because you said it. I don't really want to be a rich well-known politician or a major celebrity because I don't think I take myself seriously enough to manage my PR appropriately. I'd be too easy to for conservatives to dogpile on. Because when people whinge about some celebrity being caught getting pissed on in a Russian hotel by a bunch of Russian hookers or something, like, my first impulse or reaction to that is like, so? Like, good for them. They can afford high-class Russian hookers in a penthouse suite in a Hilton hotel. If I had the money, I'd be fucking up there. I wouldn't have 2, I'd have 3, I'd have 4. Give me a pee stream from every direction. Like those really expensive showers where there's nozzles in every wall. Like getting hit by Niagara Falls. I don't give a shit. Like, don't kink shame me. I don't even have a pee kink, but if I can afford to, I'm gonna. Just because I can. I'm very much if I can afford to do something ridiculous, I probably will. Just because, I know what it's like being poor and living as a uni student. Or as what I am right now, an editor who sometimes Twitch streams. Like, I've got fuck all money. If I wanted to do something ridiculous, I can't. The second you put me in a position where I could do literally any ridiculous thing I want, every week I'm be doing something silly. Let's pay the entire Centerfold 2024 calendar of Hustler magazine to go topless bungee jumping with me. And make a scene. I'm going to be all over Fox News. This debaucherous, famous celebrity Twitch streamer, Seankichu, otherwise known as Sean Roberts, today was caught on film bungee jumping with 12 Hustler Centerfold topless models. January through December. In fact, the models for March and November were later seen on the balcony of his hotel suite, suggesting that he might have had a 3-way with them. Damn Skippy, he did. You know how much money I've got? There's no way I'm not having Centerfold model 3-ways. With or without the P. President Sean turns up to world leaders with blow-up doll who he has named as John. Or as a side story unfolds. That side story sounds exciting. I'd like to hear more. I like how your version of hypothesizing my fame is I'm president. You've literally given me the presidency of the United States as your hypothetical. One of the most unrealistic options on the list. I'm going to show up to the UN for the World Leaders Summit with an entourage of 5 brunettes, all looking like Fergie's entourage. You know, with the... Hang on a sec. Fucking hell. Fergie. I think this is the video. Yeah. She's just got these random brunette, ponytailed entourage bad bitches with her in random shots of this music video. I'm like, just give me 5 of them. Just with those like scowling bad bitch looks in their faces, just like following behind me. And me in my presidential suit. The highest heels you've ever seen in your life. For some reason in my head I remember them looking a bit different. What happens if we type in brunette entourage? Alright, that's pretty boring. Brunette entourage. Sunglasses. Brunette. Bad bitch entourage. This is really not helping. They're trying to sell me sunglasses. Okay, never mind. What if I take that out? Damn it. There's a nice bum. Hello, bum. Fully clothed, so still within TOS. Yeah, planning my future entourage is going to be difficult. I might have to spend more time doing this. Maybe I'll, like, AI image generate. I'll just type a bunch of stuff into a prompt on the Midjourney AI Discord, maybe. See if I can invent these images. Bunch of Megan Foxes, maybe. 5 or 6 of them. Flanking me. 6, so it's symmetrical. 3 on each side. And then they're going to be like, Fox News reporters are going to be running up to me in the street and being like, don't you find your behavior with your all-female entourages to be quite misogynistic? And I'll be like, yes. Any further questions? Kind of the point. I'm trying to like put on airs of a rich douchebag just for amusement's sake. What was I'll put out like those I'm rich now YouTube videos, like MTV Crib style, where it shows off your penthouse apartment. But then I'll just like, I'll have some lady in lingerie on all fours as my coffee table, and I'll just sit on the couch, put my feet up on her. you gotta troll. If you got the means, you gotta troll hard. So people can come out and make videos about you like, oh, I never. Did you see his Cribs video and how he treats women? It's disgusting. Obviously, you know, the women in the video are in on it. Obviously, they're in on the joke. They're not actually abusing anybody. Obviously. Oh, God, what I wouldn't give to be able to troll at that level. It'd be so easy, too. Everyone takes everything you do so seriously. Oh, you found something. You found the Teletubby themed Bad Bitch Brigade. 9 brats. It's the colors for me. Also, all 4 of those women have a lot of ass. That is a lot of ass. That is more ass than any other part of their body. I feel like the ratio is really out of whack. Interesting color choices, though. There's no blue. I would have gone with the solid primary colors. Wait. I just realized those are actually legitimately the Teletubby colors. Red, purple, yellow, green. Po. Lala. Tinky Winky, Dipsy. I don't think that was an accident. I think they're actually going for that. I was joking when I said that. Oh my god, there's some hot shit going on here. That is a hot Tinkerbell. I'm just a little princess with anger issues. Gonna save that picture real quick. Excuse me. Tinker Ho. I'm gonna call that image. Why are there like modern ho variants of like Disney princesses in here? Modern Alice. Look at Belle and Aurora. Holy shit, look at this Belle. This looks like the artist that does those fairy tale comic books, the edgy ones. I've actually got like 2 issues of it on the shelf. Going down the Pinterest rabbit hole a little bit. Hang on. There you go. That's a hot Belle. Actually, you know what? I'm going to save that as well. I know someone will appreciate these. Belle. Oh, these 2 are from Cool World. I really like that movie, even though it's technically trash and most people hate it. I like the modern takes on Ariel. I don't like the captions they're putting on these though, they're kind of lame. Jats! Yes. Hot. I like Jats. Now I feel like some Jats. This is a rabbit hole. Maybe I should bail out. Or I'm going to be here all night. This is super interesting. I haven't been on Pinterest in ages. Okay. Bailing. Enough of that. I like Pinterest though. I feel like Pinterest took over what Tumblr used to be like. I mean, it doesn't exactly work the same way, but I feel like people use Pinterest in a very similar way to the way they used to use Tumblr for sharing shit like what we were just looking at. What was I doing? Oh yeah, Scream 6. How did I get distracted by that? Warning, flashing lights in the trailer. Ooh. Do I have epilepsy? I'm not sure. Let's find out. Hey, it's Wednesday Addams. Is she now in everything? Oh, shit. Oh, come on, man. He had a shotgun. How'd you fuck that up? This is interesting, though. Is this like in the middle of New York?
I had this
It is.
There's a darkness inside of me. It followed me here. And it's gonna keep coming for us.
I bet that Wednesday, Jenny Ortega? Is that her name? Wednesday Addams? Jenna Ortega?
This isn't like any other ghost.
I feel like she's gonna get all the roles from now on.
What is
We're gonna
this
see it
place?
in everything.
A shrine.
We've got to lure him in. We execute him.
Hello.
Let's play a game.
You know you're like the 10th guy to try this, right? It never works out for the dipshit in the mask.
Maybe. But there's never been one like me, Gale.
I wonder what he means by that. I mean, he was basically going full Punisher mode with a shotgun in a convenience store.
That's why I'm gonna shoot you in the head.
Not a good idea to use up all your ammo when you can't even see the assailant.
You want me. So let's finish this.
Guys?
New York would be an interesting setting to get away with serial killing like this. Because there's so many people, and there's so much noise, if you know what I mean, to, like, confuse the issue. I feel like there are ways you can get away with murder in New York where you wouldn't be able to anywhere else. Like, in broad daylight, in front of people, without anyone paying attention at all. But also that going ham in the convenience store thing, like, it's kind of comical in a way because he's just kind of like running amok. So it's like, it's almost like, how's he getting away with this? But at the same time, it's like, I don't know, man, New York. I bet there's people walking past the front of that store that have no clue. And no matter how loud you're being, it just doesn't matter. At least they're mixing things up a bit. Like, enough suburbs and small town schools and stuff like that. Ghostface in New York is an insane choice. Can't wait to see what he does. I think people are feeling the same way. I'm just tired of Scream. I think it's dragged on for too long, but it is intriguing that they're shaking things up in a very unexpected way. I don't think I even saw 3, 4, or 5. I think I saw 1 and 2, and I was like, yeah, all right. And then everything after that, I was just like, meh. I'm tired of the guy in the ghost face going around stabbing people. It's not that interesting to watch for like 6, 7 different movies. I appreciated like, what Scream 1 did with the form was different. It was original. And 2 was a little bit more of the same, but it was okay. But then after that, I was like, well, you've done the thing now. Like, I don't need it to repeat over and over again forever. Because now the originality is stretched thin. I've never been the biggest fan of slasher stuff either. I don't mind them. It's just I don't particularly find the serial killer slasher thing very scary. You like the TV series? I don't even see that either. In fact, I didn't even really look into what it was about or what people thought of it. I think my issue with slasher stuff is it's just like, I can't get past the whole, it's just some dude. Like, it's just some dude in a mask with a carving knife. Yeah, he's a psycho, and we don't like psychos because in real life we'd like to stay alive, and psycho means someone willing to unalive us, and that's not fun. But it's still like, it's just some dude. I'm just some dude. Like, it's not as scary to me if the concept is fathomable. Like, if it's some dude just stabbing people where it's like, well, that'd be like if I just picked up a knife and started stabbing people. It's not really that out of the ordinary. I mean, don't stab me, but like, it would suck if you took a crack at me. But if you did, like, I'm ready to try and defend myself. And, you know, I'm not too horrified by the threat just because I know it's just some dude. I know how some dudes operate. You can punch, you can kick, you can stab, you might headbutt me. I know how that works. I can do it back to you. Maybe I'll do it first and win. Meh. Like, if we're going to talk horror that interests me, I like the I like cosmic horror. I like the fear of the unknown stuff where it's some unfathomable concept that is kind of surreal, where it's difficult to wrap your head around exactly what the machinations, the reality of the concept actually are or how they operate. I find that stuff really interesting, but mainly because, not because I'm just outright frightened by it, it's because I'm intrigued by it, and it's eerie and it's creepy, and the things that I can't quite fathom about it are kind of scary, even if it is unrealistic and something that probably couldn't exist in real life. All that Cthulhu stuff and that, it's super interesting. I don't like it when it boils down to just a monster, though. Like, the problem with the Cthulhu mythos stuff is that when it comes to, like, dropping plot twists and actually revealing the threat, if it's just Cthulhu who rises out of the ocean, it's like, oh, it's a giant thing with octopus beard, then it's like that nullifies it a bit, because then I'm like, oh well, that's what it is. It's a monster. Now I can see the monster. It's right there. It's gonna eat me or it's gonna stomp on me. Now it's not really that scary because I can fathom being stomped on or eaten. And if I can see the thing, I can fathom what it is. It's like, okay, there it is. Let's try shooting it in the face. Let's try running away. This is all now in the wheelhouse of something that is fathomable, and I've started to lose interest slightly. There's a great movie I saw that was about Lovecraftian cosmic horror. That's like an indie film. What was it called? They go to this like cult in the woods that they used to be a part of. These two guys that are now grown up. They left when they were younger. And they're catching up with people that are there. And they get trapped in the cult and can't leave for some reason. And there's some otherworldly entity that is behind entrapping people in this area that is like, you don't see it. And you don't understand what the supernatural force is that locks this area down and controls the flow of time within it. And there are moments where, like, it's hinted that something might be under the lake. Like, if it has a physical form, it might be under the lake, and you see this giant shadow that's, like, fucking enormous. And there's a moment where they're playing with this rope that's leading into, like, a dark void. And the rope pulls back against them. And it suggests that there's something in the dark that when there's light can't be seen. But there's definitely something, like, physical in there. And it's all these kind of concepts or ideas that you never really see. Like, you never see the evidence of the thing, or it's never fully explained. But through the entire runtime of telling the story, it's fascinating, and it's very eerily creepy. But like, that's what I like. I like when things are kept surreal and eerily creepy in a way that's fascinating because you can't quite suss out exactly what is going on or what it is. It's just enough withheld from you to keep the question in your head of what you're dealing with. And that's juicy stuff. If you're some guy in a fucking robe with a knife, I'm just like, well, fuck you. I don't care about some dude. Wow. I kind of feel bad about railing against slasher films and things like Scream for so long then. It sounds like I'm really negative against it. Whereas I just don't really care that much at all. I'll watch it. What does it matter? Maybe I'll even enjoy it. It's all good. Enough with Scream. I wish I remember what that movie was called. I think I could probably figure it out. What if I type in Lovecraftian indie film? Oh my god, it's the first one that came up. It's The Endless. What amazing luck. For the first search result to be an indie film that almost nobody's seen. Yep, great poster too. What a trip. It's not like you actually see anything like that happen in the movie. It's just a cool poster. Oh wait, let me... Also, screenshots like this make it look like you see a monster in the film, whereas that's just a statue. Don't go in this expecting to see a monster. There's definitely a sort of cheap indie vibe behind the whole thing that you have to keep in mind. It's a great concept, though. I wish more movies would try things like this film did, even with as low a budget as they had. Anyway, look up The Endless if you can. Good luck finding a watchable copy. Sure, it's not easy. I bet you Scream 6 is going to make some money just on Wednesday Addams alone. Jenna Ortega. They got a good pull there. Okay, what is Lucky Hank? It's got Bob Odenkirk in it. Saul Goodman himself. So that deserves a watch.
I've always been a difficult man.
They literally
I specialize in minor
freaking Better Call
strife
Saul
and
at the start of their
significant
trailer.
irritation. That's my lane.
Nice goose. That was the trailer? Yo, okay, it was a teaser. I can't complain about a teaser being too short, I suppose. Still, though. What the fuck, man? We got a really nice shot of
irritation.
Bob Odenkirk's face, though. What a crisp man. Very crispy. Please tell me more. Starring Bob Odenkirk, Lucky Hank is the 8-episode midlife crisis tale about an unlikely chairman of the English department in a badly underfunded college in Pennsylvania. Okay. Bob Odenkirk having a midlife crisis for 8 episodes sounds like good TV to me. Damn right. What was that movie he was in recently that people loved? Nobody. They're from the John Wick people, where he's an action hero. I still haven't seen that. Dropping the ball. I need to show my man Bob Odenkirk some love and put some money down on more of his endeavors to show that he's a bankable, marketable star. Reward the good actors. That's what I say. As I sit here not doing it because I don't have enough money to spend on going to the movies. Damn it. Maybe I should start putting more effort into getting more editing work. I think the pretty problem with that is if I got more work, that would be less streaming time and time to do stuff like this. Which would take me back to the days where I did nothing but work. And I was sad about it. The great thing about starting streaming was that it gave me a productive, scheduled outlet to make sure that I do fun things like this and get some gaming in. Whereas before I did this, I was stuck working day and night. Because the problem with creative work like editing, or even if you're making your own short films and whatnot, the time you have to spend on it tends to fill up. Like, something you could have got done in 2 to 3 hours will take you all day simply because you had the entire day to spend on it. So you will fill up that time. Which is why sometimes compartmentalizing your life and your time spent to work is actually a good thing. Because you will get more done in a smaller amount of time because you know that's the time allocated to do it. Whereas if you have the time to spend on it, you will do it slower and you'll put more thought into it and you'll experiment with it more and actually fill that time out and then realize that you're spending all your time just doing that. You got to manage that stuff very carefully. Which is why short film making, creative endeavors like short films or make any kind of filmmaking is very dangerous because if you care about the project, if it's your film that you wrote and directed, you will spend your entire life editing, re-editing, adding to it, all that jazz, because you have the time. Like, there's nothing stopping you from working on it, so you won't stop ever. It'll never be perfect. You'll just keep on plugging away. You need limitations to force you over the line. Otherwise, it's just endless. They talk about this in game development as well. Indie game development, they call it feature creep. When you keep on thinking of new ideas, new features, new elements to your game, and you keep adding stuff to the point where like the game is just never finished. And then 6-7 years later, all your Kickstarter funders are like, where the fuck is the game? It's like, nope. You're feature creeped. Game will never be finished. Moving on. Something I've never heard of before, called Baby Ruby. Kit Harington's in it. Jon Snow himself. Creepy trailer for Baby... Oh, maybe it's horror. Joe is a successful lifestyle entrepreneur who is happily pregnant. Okay, Joe is a lady? Okay. Let's not spoil too much of this with synopses. Kit Harington turns up in the strangest places, I swear.
You're crazy.
Isn't that a little strange? Throwing your own baby shower?
I just need it to be perfect.
Nothing's going to be any different. It's just a baby. How big are they even, you know?
Pretty big. Bigger than you'd think for something that has to come out of a vagina. The fuck?
You ready? Well, this says they like to
I'm
suck,
not entirely sure what just
swallow,
happened.
and swing.
I don't need some book, Spencer.
Your babies are so quiet. What's the secret? You have to stop.
Wow.
Trust your instincts. Great.
I hate that answer, trust your instincts. That's so patronizing.
It's tough.
Oh, hi.
Hi, Joe.
You need a rest. I can take care of Ruby myself.
Whoa.
I feel like I'm disappearing.
Everyone goes through
This
that.
reminds me of We Need to Talk About Kevin. That Ezra Miller
Don't you
movie.
understand? She's killing me.
About a woman being driven crazy by her
You want
newborn.
me to believe that I'm crazy. But I know what you're doing. A mother's instincts never die.
No, open the door!
She's so perfect.
This is interesting.
I know the truth.
I really want to know the truth. Okay, this sold me. I'm fascinated by what's going on there. It also reminds me of the Babadook. Babadook and We Need to Talk About Kevin are both movies about a woman being driven nuts by having a shitty child. And then it's like, are they going insane? And the whole baby causing the insanity is just an excuse? Or is there something weird or supernatural about the child itself that's fucking with the lady? That's now the third movie that is based off that same theme. But all done in every single one of them done in a different way. The first comment on the video, you know nothing about raising a baby, Jon Snow. Someone wrote a screenplay based on how my mother viewed my infancy. Wild. Well, that's just sad. Spoiler alert for the movie Baby Ruby. Ruby is a baby. Nice. Postpartum depression. That's actually that's a good comment, actually, because you could say that the theme of this film is like exploring postpartum depression through like the lens of like a psychological horror film. Because from what I know about postpartum depression, like there's a lot of different ways it can manifest and for different reasons. I've got no idea how you're supposed to deal with it though. This person called it postpartum psychosis. I wonder if that's a real thing or if they just put their own twist on the term. Okay, cool. Keen to see it. I can't believe people still make these comments on IGN movie trailers. This guy at the bottom. This game, all caps, looks great, IGN. So glad this is a video about a game, all caps. That's what we're here for, is games, all caps. It's like, dude, IGN has been an entertainment source for not just video games for a long time. Like, fucking 10 years ago, bro. Just, you're not clever by trying to roast them for it. Like, get over it, you goober. I feel like people just try to roast IGN for anything these days because it's like they're a bit of a whipping boy in internet pop culture at the moment. Every single review you go on, there's someone roasting them for something. If they give it too good a review, they roast them for liking trash. If you give it too trash a review, they roast you for being out of touch and not liking something that should be a 9 or a 10. It's like they can't win, man. People need to remember that reviews are opinions and that shit's subjective. Like, I read and watch reviews for movies and games not to get informed about stuff that, like, trying to find out whether I want to see or play something. I do it because I'm curious about opinions. I don't actually care what your opinion is. Whether you love it or hate it, it's got nothing to do with me. I'm just curious to see, read, or hear about it. If I'm going to watch or play something, I'm going to do it regardless. Like, it doesn't really matter. I just want to see and hear people talk about it. What is Swallowed? Jenna Malone, Mark Patton, hang on, I need to know what this is.
Listen.
No, wait, I'm not ready. Exclusive trailer.
Listen.
No, stop. Okay, here we go.
Listen. Nobody wanted it to happen like this. Nobody. I think that we should just wrap all of this up and put it behind us.
Okay.
I'm really gonna miss this place.
Yeah.
I'm gonna miss you too.
Did they kill somebody? I don't actually know what happened at the start of this trailer.
I'll remember you.
Come on. I got a little going away present for you.
Oh.
I just wanted to send you off to California with a little bit of cash, all right? It's just a package for a friend. Drugs? Relax.
Come on, boys, I don't have all night. They go down the hatch before they make the trip.
Come on, that wasn't part of the deal. No way.
Let's just go. I don't need the money. Let's just go.
Listen, you're not backing out now, okay? It's too late for that.
Is she forcing them to take drugs? Oh, okay, I get it. Drug smuggling. Swallowing, like, condoms of drugs and drive them across the border. They're being forced to do it. Got it. Hey, Loretta. Hope you're doing well. You came up in my recommended, so I thought I'd drop you a follow. Oh, thanks for that. Much obliged. Just hanging out, looking at internet stuff. Just having a chill night. I'm surprised I think you're the first person that's ever actually mentioned that I've come up in a recommended. No one's ever actually said that out loud. But that's how they came across my stream. I'm sure it probably happens, but obviously I never see myself. I never see myself in recommendeds because it wouldn't recommend my own stream to me. So I had no visibility of, like, if that works. If that's how it works at all. I don't really know, like, how Twitch's algorithm really does its job, though. Like, who does it recommend or feature on the front page and for what reasons? You always assume that, like, the biggest streamers obviously, like, get plastered all over the front of stuff for obvious reasons. I mean, the algorithm is always going to pitch things that are popular because it wants to spread the things that work. I mean, that's exactly why algorithms do the thing they do. Twitch's algorithm makes no sense. Yeah, I do remember being on the front page and seeing, like, some front page carousel stuff of a bunch of streams that, like, there was no rhyme or reason to exactly what they were doing there. Like, there was no cohesive through line of, like, oh, these all have lots of views, or these are all of a particular topic. It was all kinds of shit. It was some random game that no one else seems to be playing. The next one was somebody that had, like, 1 or 2 viewers, so there was obviously no, like, viewership reason there. And then the next one was, like, something else entirely. I think the algorithm has a couple of different tiers of how it works. Like, the bigger ones probably go in that scrolling thing at the top. And then the next couple down that are in different categories, I think it's a little bit more random to try and spread the love a bit more. You always get recommended streams of people playing drums. Did you happen to, like, purposely at some point look for that, or like specifically click on streams that were in the music arts category, because sometimes you can figure out what the algorithm's doing just by looking at your own habits of like what you click on or what you stay on for longer. Because I know my my TikTok is actually quite predictable, because my TikTok tends to feed me a lot of animals and cats, because like I'll scroll through people like dancing or doing goofy shit like pretty quickly and not linger much. But then whenever the For You page gives me like a cat doing something cute, I tend to stop and watch for a little bit longer to see what the cat does. So now when I go through my like For You, it's like cat, 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 cat. Some hot chick doing something, cat, cat, cat. You watch Call of Duty, Rocket League, or RuneScape. Also, it really is just random. Yeah, okay. That makes sense. And now I see what you mean by it making no sense at all. Because TikTok, my TikTok makes perfect sense. I don't quite understand Twitch. Twitter is also pretty like all over the place. I don't really get that one either. Yours is thirst traps and cooking videos. Yeah, see, mine is mostly animals and cats, and then like some thirst traps sprinkled in between. Because obviously I must have lingered on the occasional like attractive chick doing something for obvious reasons. But the cats seem to have like even beat the thirst traps just by a slight margin. I think YouTube makes more sense. Like YouTube's algorithm can be pretty predictable with feeding you stuff that are in the same categories of the stuff you watch or that you follow. That's the same thing. Thirst traps and cooking videos. Are you one of those foodies, Minx? That gets all like turned on by good food? Do you watch like Jamie Oliver, like making really high-end stuff? Is that your pornography? There's a guy on your For You page that does thirst trap cooking. Holy shit, I think I've seen those clips on Instagram. I think I know what you're talking about. Does he do like vaguely sexualized things while he cooks? And it's quick cuts? Like he'll be making something that looks very delicious, like top quality seafood stuff, but then like there'll be a quick shot of him like stroking like an oyster in a very sexually provocative manner before it cuts to a shot of him cutting some butter or whatever. He's most always topless. Yes, okay, I've seen this. I've seen, you know that thing people do on Instagram where they steal TikTok videos and they just put TikToks up on Insta in Reels? I've seen his stuff popping up on meme pages in Reels before. I've got no idea how you would search that, though, if you were looking for it on purpose. I love how gratuitous he is, though. Like, it's not even subtle. Like, he's clearly trying to make cooking look erotic in the most, like, blatant way possible. It's like the Magic Mike of cooking. Like, you may as well just, like, grind on a chick's lap while slicing some bread. I wouldn't put it past him. To Pony by Genuine. Amazing. He's doing something right. He gets the views and likes. Oh, I mean, obviously, like, just watching his videos, you can immediately tell why he gets views. That is, like, an instant win. There's some things that you see them and you're like, I can tell why this is popular. Easy win. Easy W's. I should probably look at the rest of this. I forgot I had a trailer paused here.
Just had
You be gentle. It is very important that they don't get damaged.
We're just talking in here, all right?
Is that what you call it? Why don't you leave us alone? What are you gonna do about it? Let's just go.
What the fuck?
What is that? I can't feel my legs.
Let's go, let's go.
Oh, he punched him in the stomach and they... Drug bag
Give us
burst.
some money. We'll be gone.
This movie's giving me an anxiety, and it's just the trailer.
Please don't leave me here.
I was not expecting this to be a
You're gonna go to hell.
horror movie. I mean, I guess it's a thriller. A horrifying thriller. I guess would you even call that a horror movie? Good lord. Still not as good as you with the gingerbread house though, Sean. Well, I wouldn't call the gingerbread house cooking. I built a gingerbread house, and then you and a few other followers forced me to eat it fairly erotically. What did I like? Throat the chimney? You made me draw. Wait. Okay, wait. You didn't make me draw a penis on the wall of the house in icing sugar. I did that. But you did tip to make me lick the penis off the side of the house suggestively. So that one's on you. That is the one stream where I was like, imagine people coming into this stream like mid some of this stuff. What does the trailer have to do with swallowing though? Oh, it looks like the concept was someone is forcing those two guys to smuggle drugs over the border by swallowing the drugs in those little baggies. So like you're smuggling the drugs like in your stomach in like a waterproof baggie. And then it looks like one of the guys gets beaten up in a redneck truck stop and the bag of drugs bursts in his stomach. And yeah. Have a different definition of swallowing. Yeah, well, I didn't know what to expect when I first clicked on it, so I was like, this could be anything. A movie called Swallowed. This could have been a movie about like the rise of the gay porn industry in the 1980s or something. Like a biopic, for all I knew. Although that would probably be for a really good biopic. The comments are good. Can't wait for the sequel. Swallowed 2, Swallow Harder. Sweet. I've seen a few Swallowed videos on the internet. A little bit easy. Bottom of the barrel joke there. The sequel's going to be Spit. Okay, that's a good one. I'll rate that one. I'll wait till it's on Disney Plus. Okay, that's also pretty funny. They should have thought about the title a little bit harder, and harder's in quotes. It's like one of my Japanese animes. Sham, is that you? It's the title and the thumbnail for me. What was the thumbnail? Oh, I don't get to see the thumbnail. Everyone's pretty much just trying to do different riffs on the swallowed joke. And a few people doing the spit joke. Yeah. Okay. I want to see that thumbnail though. Swallowed. I didn't spell that correctly at all. Swallowed. Oh, that thumbnail, the second one. Yeah, that does look a bit sus. It's a sweaty guy looking down at you as if you're on your knees in front of him. Okay. Based on that thumbnail alone, I actually would have assumed that had something to do with the gay porn industry. They knew what they were doing when they did that thumbnail, though. They knew. Wait, what was that? Oh, that thumbnail. Look at the official... Oh my god. The official trailer post on the actual production company's page. Let me zoom that in. Oh shit. Look at that. Look at that thumbnail. That's even worse. It's like every other thumbnail, they try to push the other version of what they mean by swallowed, even though the film's not about that at all. Okay. 10 body horror movie fates worse than death. Alright, I'll buy it. That's intriguing.
More often than not in horror, anyone
Actually,
who's subjected to some kind of horrible torture or mutilation dies long before the end of the film. Alien horrors frequently see
I want to see how many of these
scientists
films
devoured
I've seen
before
on
they
this
can even
list.
make it to the opening credits. And
Hey,
popular
Sham.
horror tropes dictate that anyone moving into
You're
a
on front
haunted
counter
country
drive-thru again?
house or checking out a weird
Are you still being forced to do front counter drive-through because of that one chick that always calls in sick? Man, you keep getting the short end of the stick on that.
noise in the night is guaranteed to meet their end. It really is quite difficult to survive. In a way, it's more of a mercy.
I saw a shot there
because
from
some of the
Tusk.
things that characters endure would ensure they would live a miserable life if
There
they
is
somehow
Tusk again.
survived.
Okay.
Sometimes, though, there's an especially awful fate reserved
Tusk is
for our
definitely gonna
central
be on the
characters.
list.
They can be
Tusk and Human Centipede, 100% on the list.
forced to live. This is definitely worse than it sounds, though, because their woeful existences will be filled with unimaginable amounts of horror and pain.
The Fly?
So why don't we take a look at
Cool.
some of the best examples of this? I'm Amy from What Culture, and here's 10 body horror movie fates worse than death. 10. The Beach House. 2019's The Beach
Oh, I haven't
House was
seen
the
this.
directorial
Alright.
debut for Jeffrey Brown, and he wasted no time in getting stuck into a bit of body horror. Whilst on holiday staying in a beachfront villa, two couples fall victim to a toxic fog that descends in the night. On inhaling the fog, you slowly become rabid. At first, we see
Rabid?
the older woman of the group descending into madness and foaming at the mouth. However,
Like
this
actually
is
rabid?
not the worst of it.
Oh.
After the younger couple, Emily and Randall, manage to escape, they find refuge in a house where Emily ventures into the basement looking for supplies. Down below, she sees what is to become one day of those taken by the fog. An amorphous humanoid blob crouches over a corpse, slowly devouring it, or maybe becoming one with it. Gradually becoming mad and
Oh my
rabid
God.
and then melting into a blob of cannibalistic goo definitely has to be up there with one of the worst ways to live out your days. 9.
Okay, yeah,
Rabid,
gross.
2019. This remake of the 1977 David Cronenberg original follows a young woman.
Off to a bad start. Remake of a David Cronenberg classic.
Woman's descent into vampiric bloodlust after receiving some experimental stem cell treatment. Turns out this is no mistake side effect though, and that her doctor did this to her knowingly. If that doesn't make him sound crazy enough, we get introduced
So I'm
to
guessing
his
this is
wife.
going to be a gross
Once the
version
couple
of
found out
vampires.
that her cancer was incurable,
Not the sexy
she
version.
donated her body to his cause, and the way he chose to honor that was to turn her into a grotesque mass of flesh stuck to a basement wall. And they say romance is dead. Her body is a shell of what it once was,
That ain't
with
no vampire.
entrails and tendrils breaking from what was probably once a ribcage. Unfortunately, in immortalizing his wife this way, he accidentally also made her cancer immortal. So were it not for her murder at the hands of our leading lady, or maybe more of a mercy killing, she would have been destined to spend the rest of her days riddled with cancer, with her body mutating to the point where all of her humanity is completely gone. 8.
Actually, that's kind of clever in a way if you think about it. Like, if his mutation, science bullshit, blurring out the boobies, thank God. If his mutation bullshit is like causing bodily evolution to like circumvent the cancer, but without, if he made it to accidentally not actually kill or overwrite the cancer, but work around it, then like that's kind of a cool concept of like how grotesque does an organism get when the cancer keeps on growing and spreading, but the thing that's evolving to avoid or survive the cancer is growing around and away from it to the point where you're just turning into a larger, more grotesque mass of like flesh, like some kind of like writhing, spreading, fleshy organism that's just never going to stop spreading. I mean, you kind of turn into sort of a flesh virus organism yourself, just like a cancer. You're basically a human cancer at that point. Like you yourself are spreading. It's a cool. I can't believe I've never heard of that movie before. It's a neat idea.
Society. Compared to a lot of others on this list,
never seen any of these
film
movies
is
before.
admittedly much more funny than it is scary, but that doesn't take away from the fact it contains some of the most cursed bits of body horror ever committed to screen. In a nutshell, Billy suspects that his family and other members of the local high-class society are up to no good, and his investigation leads him to find out that he's completely correct. Sometimes it can feel like the world's richest class are a different species altogether, and this film
Why is there
takes
a
that
headbutt?
idea in its most literal
we're probably gonna
form.
find out.
Billy discovers his family and their friends are aliens who engage in a weird ritual
there you go,
where
aliens.
they melt together in a pool of body parts and skin,
Oh my
sucking
God.
the nutrients out of one poor human soul. It's honestly up to you to decide which side of this is worse, to be the human getting the life sucked out of them, or to be an alien destined to spend their life melting into some kind of deformed monster. The third option, of course, is to be the poor sod forced to watch, in which case we've all lost today. 7. The
Wow,
Fly.
okay.
Now, we've already visited a Cronenberg.
Have you noticed that how many of these have to do with people like melting or fusing together in like amorphous masses of flesh?
Remake, but we would be remiss to get
Fly
through
I
this
have
list
seen.
without an original. The Fly is a 1986 Cronenberg classic,
This is a good movie.
story of a man working on developing pods that allow you to teleport between them. When he teleports himself, an error means that he accidentally fuses with a fly that was also present in the pods, and soon he begins to mutate into an insect-human hybrid. His deterioration is grotesque. Fingernails falling off, vomiting acid, his jaw even gets torn straight off his face. It's honestly no surprise that by the end he's begging for the release of death, even if by that point he has also managed to merge himself with a metal door. To live as a huge, tumorous insect man is surely one of the most disgusting fates, but then he does mention that after a certain point you would just lose all humanity and be controlled by primitive impulses. Flies don't really have a lot of thoughts, right?
Jeff
So
Goldblum
maybe
did
it
such a
would be
good
kind
job
of
in this movie.
peaceful. 6. The Human Centipede. This list
I own this on
simply
Blu-ray.
couldn't exist without acknowledging the movie that was
2 movies in a row
probably
I've seen,
lot of
yay.
people's first venture into body horror. First coming out in 2009, this film quickly became infamous, which isn't really very surprising when you know what it's about. The clue's in the name. A deranged scientist wants to create a human centipede by joining 3 people together so they share one central digestive system. An existence
right.
as any part of a human centipede would be unbearable, but especially as the middle person. Well, it can confidently be said that what seemed originally to be the worst case scenario for Lindsay, the middle segment, gets infinitely worse by the end of the film. After a suicide, a stabbing, a shootout, and a good old case of sepsis, Lindsay is the only person alive with nobody left to help her. Completely without hope, her friend dead behind her, and a corpse attached to her mouth, the movie ends with Lindsay's fate unknown. All that we do know is that the remainder of her life is going to be completely miserable. 5.
She probably didn't live that much longer, to be honest. Did you watch the other Human Centipedes? Yes, I did. I have the first 2 on Blu-ray. I don't actually own the third one, though. To be honest, the first one is actually quite tame. Like, it's mainly just gross and off-putting in concept. But in terms of what you actually witness, what you actually see, it's not actually that fucked up. The second one starts getting fairly gross. Like, there's stuff that happens in the second one that is actually like, look away from the screen, fucked up. The second one was more like what I expected, how I expected to react to the first one. But then the first one is like actually kind of tame. It's more it's more just your reaction to the idea of the film, if anything. In fact, some people still think it's really fucked up even after having seen it, just because the concept is just so revolting that pretty much carries it through. It didn't need to have to actually be that gory or disgusting in terms of what you see for it to work. So I think it makes it a better movie in that way. Like, the 2 and 3 are just kind of trashy, because they just go all out on the whole, like, let's do and show things that are made to make people want to hurl. which is a lot more like exploitation film, straight to DVD kind of rubbish. But good if you want to like gross out your friends though.
Tusk. Keeping with the theme of human hybrids that shouldn't have happened, we have Kevin Smith's 2014 Tusk.
I've seen this one as well. That's 3 in a row.
Wallace is held captive by a crazy old man.
I like the first half of this
hell-bent on
movie.
breathing new life into Mr. Tusk, the walrus that saved him from a shipwreck years earlier. After being stranded, the man had to eventually eat his walrus companion and has carried
guy looks
the
like a
guilt
young
with
Christian
him ever
Bale.
since. It may be a comedy horror, but there's nothing funny about the nightmares this film prompts. Seeing a man turned into a walrus with a pelt made of human skin and tusks of his own tibia bones. By the time anyone comes to rescue Wallace, he has been conditioned to think bones.
Hang on.
By the time
That right there, that's kind of what ruined the movie for me. This ridiculous French-Canadian accented Johnny Depp detective character with by the halfway point in the movie when he shows up to investigate the guy's disappearance, he gets turned to the walrus. I feel like the movie kind of takes a massive nosedive. Like, I really like the first half and the build-up and the performances and everything, but I feel like the second half really goes astray with this character, and it's really all on him.
anyone comes to rescue
And I like
Wallace,
Johnny
he
Depp.
has been conditioned to think and act like a walrus. The only place that they can really put him is in a wildlife sanctuary, where he's fed mackerel and lives the simple life of a walrus. Simple life, maybe. Happy, peaceful life? No. We see at the end as he cries for his lost love that he still has humanity within him, but he's destined to spend his days as a walrus made of the skin
It was
of
nice
dozens
seeing
of
Haley Joel
murder
Osment again.
victims, chewing his mackerel with bits of his own leg bones. 4. Contracted. This film has its own take on the classic
Contracted.
zombie angle. Instead of looking
Okay,
at
I
an
haven't seen this
outbreak,
one.
just focusing on one woman. This patient Zero is given the deathly disease from a man who recently violated a biohazardous corpse, and we
Whoa.
watch as she becomes more zombified with each passing moment. Her body falls apart and starts rotting, giving her many of the typical features we would associate with the zombie appearance. She doesn't understand what's happening to her as her hair and nails fall out, her eyes become bloodshot, and she bleeds heavily with maggots growing inside her. Not only is she slowly becoming a terrifying
Good lord.
monster, but she's also just been through a breakup, so really how much worse could it get for her? It would be terrifying to be decaying from the
That's a weird
inside
comment.
out, but not know
Like,
the cause
how does
of
the
end
breakup
result.
even
By the end of the film, without
fit
even
on the
realizing
scale
it, she's lost all human qualities,
of
going so
drama
far as
when
to
you're
lunge
turning
at
into
her
a
own
zombie?
mother with murder in her eyes. 3. Inseminoid. In a galaxy
I kinda
far,
wanna see
far
that movie.
away, a group of 12 scientists are doing some excavation work.
I like
on
how
the
many
ruins
movies
of an
there are in this
ancient
list that I've never seen
civilization.
before.
It's not long, however, before things start getting spooky. After one crew member goes mental and causes the death of another, 2 team members decide it's probably fine to just go back and collect some more samples. Surprise, one of them's killed and the other, Sandy, gets impregnated by an alien. The planet's
What?
chemical intelligence overtakes her and
Cool.
makes her murder and disembowel her friends and crewmates, developing superhuman strength and a tolerance to the planet's hostile atmosphere. Because of the whole alien aspect, this pregnancy isn't the normal 9-month package. Instead, within a matter of hours, Sandy gives birth to
Oh.
twins who are just as messed up as she is.
The alien
It seems
babies
a
are coming
pretty
out.
rough deal to be forcefully impregnated by an alien, have your brain eaten up by chemical intelligence, and then still push out 2 monster babies. If it weren't for a crewmate
That woman
strangling
went through the
Sandy
ringer
to
at this
death,
one.
she would have continued to live under the control of the chemicals, feasting on the flesh of her friends and in the company of her horrible little demon children. Yeah, it's gonna be a no from me. 2. Splinter.
Yeah, same.
If the poster for this film alone doesn't already make you cringe a
Oh,
bit, then
no.
you're stronger than most. This film centers around a virulent fungus originating in rabid animals that passes from person to person, leaving them with spikes protruding from their skin,
Ooh.
black blood, and a murderous disposition.
Okay, I have
Because
seen
this
the posters
ferocious
for this.
fungus
I knew
takes
this
control
movie
of any
existed, but I
host
didn't see it.
infects, even the dismembered body parts of the infected have minds of their own and are capable of attacking and moving independently of the body. The product of the
This is very similar to the whole fungus concept that they used for Last of Us. The idea of funguses that take over other organisms and control them to their own ends. Except in this case, fungus taking over a whole body and being able to move any body part autonomously, even if you cut it off. So it takes it kind of a little bit further.
The infection really is quite disgusting and not even a bit fun to look at. To be transformed not only into a regular zombie, but one covered in spikes and filled with fungus sounds like a terrible fate, especially when your blown off body parts end up having more independence than you do as your brain falls victim to the fungus's control. 1. Antiviral. We're wrapping up this list with
another
Antiviral, Cronenberg, but not the one
I
you
never watched
expected.
it, but I remember this.
Antiviral is a 2012 sci-fi horror directed by David Cronenberg's son, Brandon. In this film's world,
Brandon
it's established
Cronenberg.
practice for fans to purchase pathogens that have infected their favourite celebrities in an attempt to feel closer to them. Our main character Sid works for a clinic that provides this service, where he smuggles out pathogens to sell on the black market. A particular popular celebrity is Hannah, and after she supposedly dies from a virus he recently harvested from her, Sid gets kidnapped. He's taken to see Hannah's doctor, who reveals that she's still alive. Hannah was purposefully infected with a pathogen with the intention of it being harvested and sold as an exclusive patented strain.
What is happening?
Sid negotiates with the patent holders to work with them in harvesting from Hannah, and so it's not actually Sid who we're looking at here for his grim outcome. His life's just fine. Hannah, on the other hand, has her cells harvested to create cloned skin and flesh, and this flesh is then infected with pathogens to sell on. All the while, Hannah is being kept alive. Stuffed in an incubator, she has her flesh constantly harvested, infected, drank from, mutilated, fetishized, anything you can think of. She's destined to spend the rest of her days being broken down into bits and sold on for profit. And that brings us to the end
is
of
actually
our
pretty
list
messed
of
up.
10 body horror movie fates worse than death. If you can think of any more particularly horrible fates, then let us know in the comments down below.
I feel like they are missing some. I'm just trying to rack my brain right now, but I remember there's been like some pretty fucked up end fates to characters in movies I've seen before. Like fates worse than death kind of thing. Oh, hi Tanky. What's going on? I want to see if anyone brings up something that I recognize. Human Centipede was legitimately the most horrifying movie I've ever seen. See, like, I don't get it when people say that, because it wasn't really that bad at all. It was just a gross idea. The ending of The Mist, worse than death. Like, there's an interesting concept, because he's actually right. Like, the ending of The Mist is technically a fate worse than death, but in more in a psychological way than a body horror way. This list seems to be focusing on like body horror fates worse than death. Like they should refine the title of this video. The stuff in Annihilation racked my brain more than these. Yep, the fungus corpse on the wall, I remember that. Tree people. That weird moose creature in the house was fucking scary as well. The acrobat in the movie Freaks. She had to spend the rest of her life with her head attached to the body of a chicken. Good call. I suppose you could add the anyone that goes to the hell dimension whatever in Event Horizon. The fates of the people that go to like, you know, when the Event Horizon travels through the wormhole, the lightspeed travel, and then ends up like somewhere unknown, which is theorized to be some kind of hell, alter dimension. And when it comes back, like everyone's kind of like gone hell crazy and peeling each other's skin and just nutso. That's kind of messed up. Splice? Isn't Splice just a movie about like they make like that alien creature girl with the stinger tail and then the guy fucks it? The end. Yeah, it turns on them at the end. Like at some point after he bones it. When it's in heat. She gets pregnant. The lady. Oh, okay. I see what you mean. So she's pregnant with another splice creature. That really depends on what her fate is after the fact, though. Like, just being pregnant suggests that there might be a fate worse than death for her in the future, but the question is, what is that? They don't really suggest if it's going to be anything bad. Like, she could just give birth to what is essentially a normal human baby, that then turns into a splice creature. What scares me most is how happy she sounds while narrating this video. That's a good comment. Well, that was interesting. That was super interesting. I do think that there's more examples that I could think of if I had the time to rack my brain about more stuff that I've seen. Because there's a lot of stuff out there of characters that didn't die, but the way they end up is something like really, really bad that makes you go to bed sweating with anxiety. Okay. That was a huge, huge detour. There's a trailer here that's got Rachel McAdams in it for they're doing an adaptation of Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret, which I know for a fact is a famous book, a famous work of fiction about female puberty that is well known about the topic. It was actually parodied in the movie Deadpool. There's a scene in Deadpool where he's handcuffed to Colossus, and Deadpool goes to slice off his hand at the wrist to escape. And as he's cutting through his wrist, the blood squirts out of it into Colossus' face. And Deadpool has a one-liner where he says, like, "Are you there, God? It's me, Margaret," which is him kind of cracking a joke about getting his first period because he's squirting blood from his wrist. So, like, that was a really deep-cut joke. I remember laughing at that in the cinema and realizing that very few other people laughed. And I was like, oh, nobody knows what the book is. Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. Because that book was famous for being about a religious girl that was dealing with the confusion of going through puberty and what it meant. And like it was a book that was pushed in schools a lot to help teenage girls like understand what their bodies were going through. Anyway, what the fuck is going on here? We're just watching stuff. We're just hanging out, Tanky. Nothing special. There's been a few movies or series where people who live forever drown and never actually die but can't get out. That to me is horrific. There's a Stephen King short story about it's a sci-fi short story about a near future where they've created like teleportation travel, but it's like a very down to earth kind of like going to the airport and waiting for your turn to go in the capsule kind of like commercial style of teleportation travel. And it's about this family that are waiting in the lobby and the dad telling one of the kids about like how the technology was invented. And the scary thing about that short story is that what it leads up to is the revelation that if you're conscious, for some reason you have to be unconscious where they put you through teleportation capsule. And when they're inventing it, they'll put through like a rat and it'll come out the other side like just blank expression and kind of comatose with its heart beating really fast. And then it just kind of has a stroke and dies a few seconds later. And they tried putting through like a prisoner or something. And he came out the other end white as a sheet, like blank expression and eyes, like mumbling like crazy stuff to himself. And then his heart like kept beating faster until he like had a stroke. His heart basically burst and died. And they can't figure this out, but what they realize is that solid objects go through just fine. And putting like a living creature through ass first works just fine, as long as the part with the eyes and the brain don't go through. So they tried like blindfolding or rendering a rat unconscious and putting it through, and when it wakes up on the side, it's fine. So that's when they realize, okay, you got to be unconscious or not perceive anything around you as you're going through. And there's a lot of theories about why that is, or what it is that you see while going through there that does that to you. And like the revelation of the story is that when you go through the teleportation through the one gate and come out the other, it stretches time in a way that like demolecularizes your physical body and sends it through time and space in a way that like time and space is like stretching like taffy and then eventually coming back together on the other side. The problem is when an actual consciousness goes through there, like a brain that's awake and aware of it happening, that stretching of time becomes infinite. So it's basically that 1 second it takes you to go through that thing. If you're a conscious being that's able to think and perceive, that actually is consciously going through and witnessing and feeling it, to you, it's like you basically just went through a white void for like hundreds of millions of years. So like when the person comes out the other side and they're white as a sheet and blank and their irises are like tiny and their heart is like freaking out until it bursts and you basically have a stroke. The reason that's happening is because the person on the other side, their mind has just been alive for like an infinity amount of time, like hundreds upon millions upon billions of years of consciousness in a white void with no visual stimuli. And then when they come out the other side and all of a sudden they're back perceiving and smelling and seeing things, you're basically, your brain just freaks the fuck out. It's like all of a sudden billions of years approaching infinity of pure nothingness, but being perfectly awake to perceive it, suddenly turns back into, I can see stuff, hear stuff, blah, and your heart just like fucking goes crazy and explodes. Like you can't handle it. And also, you've also gone insane. Your consciousness has gone literally insane from like what feels like an infinity, close to infinity, like billions of years of being awake, but having no stimuli. It's just white nothingness. That's why people can go any those quiet bar things for any short times. Yeah, I guess so. It's same as stimuli deprivation. Michael from Vsauce went through it for 3 days. Oh, damn. Yeah, you'd get a bit stir crazy. It's just like, it's a good cosmic horror kind of Lovecraftian concept, because like that stuff's always about the fear of the unknown, of like something that's hard to fathom but scares you. And just the thought of being conscious without stimuli for an infinity amount of time is probably the worst thing I can possibly think of. Like, that is worse than anything on that list of 10 body horror things they showed. You can find the video on YouTube. Actually, let me just... I haven't seen Vsauce in a while. Vsauce stimuli? Vsauce. What happens when your brain is deprived of stimulation? Oh, that must be the one then. Science of awkwardness. Yeah, you're right. It's Minefield episode 1. It was the first thing that came up. You know, I think I could do pretty well in solitary confinement. You know, like how they do in prison for quite a while. I don't know what it does to the brain after a particular amount of time, but I think I could handle that for quite a bit. But, you know, we'll check this out just because it's what we're talking about. Oh, YouTube original. Back when they still did these.
Imagine
that's a blast from the past.
To a 10 by 10 foot room in complete isolation. No timekeeping devices, no phones, no books, nothing to write on, no windows. Psychologists say that fewer than 3 days in a room like this can lead to brain damage. I will be staying in this room for 3 days.
He's trying to brain damage himself. That's actually kind of funny.
He's on the border of misery.
Oh, by the way, before I let this keep going, here. This is what I was talking about, in case you're interested. The short story is called The Jaunt. It was published in a Twilight Zone magazine in 1981, and is part of Stephen King's 1985 Skeleton Crew novel, which is a novel collecting a bunch of his short stories. My mum had that novel on her shelf. I don't know if there's a film version of this though. That's just the only thing, because I actually read this. I actually read the short in his novel. I don't remember it very well from back in the day when I used to read my mum's Stephen King's, but a friend of mine talked about it once a few years ago, and I managed to bring up a PDF version of it on my computer, and I reread it then. And I didn't remember anything about it. Like, I can't even remember if I originally read it in the book, even though I knew I read that book. But, like, fucked me up a little bit. It's probably worth, like, chasing down a copy of Skeleton Crew, because that's a full novel of just a whole bunch of some of his more interesting short stories, like short horrors. But if you're just looking to check out The Jaunt, you could probably find it easily like I did, because I just found, like, a PDF. Or did my friend give it to me? I might have asked him about it, and I think he might have found the PDF for me somewhere online. Doesn't take very long to read as well, because it's a short. I can't remember why it's called The Jaunt. I think that's what they call the service, the teleportation service in the story. Yeah, it's unnerving. I feel like you could make an entire feature film out of that concept, but I'm not entirely sure how you would extend it without, like, ruining it.
Even in a city surrounded by people, it's possible
Story time
to
with Sean?
feel
You mean read the entire short story on stream?
Your brain is like a hungry sponge. It's constantly absorbing information. It thrives when stimulated. Between smartphones and books and movies and friends and family, thousands of sensations are constantly going into our heads. But what if it all got cut off? What is boredom?
That's kind of like streaming in a nutshell. When you're streaming, there's a lot going on at the same time.
Of disgust.
I'm watching stuff, I'm talking, there's chat going on over here.
Shows them all on a wheel. Notice that boredom shares a spoke with disgust and loathing. They are different
Video's a bit too quiet.
The same emotion. You see, boredom pushes us away
Oh,
from
do you want the video
most
louder?
situations because variety and stimulation literally lead to neurogenesis, brain cell growth.
Hang on.
We are here today doing what we do
Okay,
because
I turned it up a bit.
boredom has guided us toward greater and greater challenges and bigger and more complex brains. So, what is it like to be deprived of the sensations and social interactions so many of us take for granted? A landmark study at Harvard and Virginia universities found that students prefer to experience physical pain over 15 minutes of boredom. To demonstrate
Yeah, I wouldn't agree with
surprising
that.
lengths people will go to
Hell no.
avoid boredom, we brought in an unsuspecting subject for what he
Didn't
believes to be
most
a
of us go
focus
through this in the pandemic
begin
though?
by introducing a set of
We all got
stimuli,
isolated.
one of which is very unpleasant.
Oh, shit.
What?
Shocked the shit out of me. Touch it.
Ooh, it did shock me. No, it didn't. Did it really? Yeah, it did. But
He doesn't like it.
Yeah, it really
I mean,
Our
I could see
fake
that.
focus test continues.
So, let's start with the shock button. Jameson, would you choose to experience this again?
I don't want to do that again.
Why wouldn't you?
Because it shocked me, and I can still feel it going down my forearm.
Now it's time for Jameson's true
Oh yeah,
test.
true. I had plenty of
test
stimulus in
before.
isolation, even though I
You will be in
wasn't
the room
like
for 30
seeing
minutes.
human beings.
Please remain in your chair. Feel free to re-experience the electric shock button, or not.
Okay. All right, the moment of truth.
When the only two options are boredom or painful shock, which will our subject choose?
He's not even looking at the button.
It hasn't even been a minute yet, and already Jameson is restless. With nearly a half hour to
this guy's
go
a rookie.
and no other stimulation in the room, the shock button is a tempting object to occupy Jameson's mind. Remember what Jameson said a few minutes ago.
I don't want to do that again.
But will he
That's a reminder.
desire stimulation so strongly he just goes ahead and pushes that button?
I feel like Jameson is a little weak-willed.
It took exactly 1 minute and 57
I can
seconds
sit and stare at the wall for
order
hours, I swear,
Jameson's
if I have to.
mind to go from never again.
Put me in the room, coach. I'm ready.
Sure, I'll give myself an electric shock to relieve boredom. Sometimes stimulation, any stimulation, is perceived as better than none at all. Now, this guy doesn't like being bored, but can he resist touching it a second time?
Do you notice how loud his watch is? His watch is bright yellow. I've never seen anything like it. It looks like a SpongeBob watch.
We're social animals.
That's two.
Whether it's another human or a volleyball or an electric shock button, you'll make friends with whatever you need to. Jameson, I'm Michael. Thanks for coming in today. So tell me a little bit about what you've been up to here in this room.
I've been just sitting in this room with a button.
Yeah?
And despite saying I didn't want to press it again, I pressed it twice.
Why?
I was just bored in this room, I suppose.
Really?
Quick question. Do you think, what's his name, Jameson? Do you think Jameson's gay? Like, his mannerisms and his tone of speaking is serving gay to me right now. I'm getting the vibe a little bit.
Yeah.
Did that hurt?
Yes.
The hypothesis is
Or European.
that
True.
when left alone with a very negative stimulus, people will
Europeans
go ahead and
Europeans do tend to throw off the gaydar a little bit sometimes.
experience it just because it's something to do.
I'm one of them.
Don't jump.
We dislike being bored so much. Sometimes physical pain is preferable. But intentionally putting yourself into what would seem to be the most boring environment possible can be useful. It's called sensory deprivation.
Psychologists have conducted experiments on sensory deprivation since the 1930s. During the Cold War, the military used sensory deprivation for both training and interrogation.
Training?
In the 1970s, the activity became recreational, with soundproof,
Why would you
lightproof
train
flotation
someone with
tanks
sensory
that keep you
deprivation? What do you
buoyant
train
with
them in?
salt water that is the same temperature as your body.
All right, so I'm on my way to a subterranean float lab. This company sells sensory deprivation.
This
I've
will be a
never really
training
understood
session
this.
for my 3 days in isolation, and I'm getting guidance from an expert.
Like, what are you getting out of
Hey,
this?
Dominic, how are you?
Hey, what's up, Michael?
You know Dominic Monaghan from Lord of the Rings and the TV series Lost.
Now this is your first
Random
time.
celebrity?
This is my first time. I'm a little nervous. I've never been alone without any stimulation.
One of my favorite things about floating is there's nothing else going on.
Okay.
You can't see anything, you can't hear anything, you can't do anything. You just have to look at you. And for some people, that's scary. It's like looking in a mirror for hours. This flotation tank is a really good way of getting him prepped for the isolation
He's a
chamber.
floater.
But I also think he needs to be okay with the fact that it's going to put him outside of his comfort zone.
That's an unfortunate title for someone who uses sensory deprivation tanks, because a floater is also slang for a body found out at sea. Like any corpse found in the water is usually referred to as a floater. I think it's also slang for a turd. If you find an unflushed turd in the bowl, that's a floater.
The mind is a good thing to lose every so often.
All right, let's take a peek.
And a piece of poo floating. Jigs.
Ooh, so this is the room. This is where I will be floating for the next hour, alone with nothing to do but listen to my thoughts. I'll see you on the other side.
The mind is a good thing to lose every so often. You have to remind Fear that you're in the driver's
They're making it creepy.
Hey, Dominic, how was it? It was really good. Yeah. Can we sit down? Yeah, let's do it. My initial thought when I laid down was, wow, this is buoyant. And then I just started thinking about errands and tasks. But at some point, well, it was like dreams. But my eyes were open, like those sort of like half dreams you have, either when you're about to fall asleep or when you're waking up.
That's when it gets interesting. You're allowing your brain to be free. You're just floating
Oh,
in
he paints his
space. You're
nails.
just atoms that are on the top of this pool floating in space. So now you've done this and you're doing this isolation booth. Do you think that was in some way helpful or a hindrance?
It made me more unhappy about what's coming up. 3 days is quite a bit different than 1 hour.
Your mind doesn't like silence. It makes things up, keep things active. Yeah, that's what makes it difficult to fall asleep sometimes. A lot of people struggle with that, like lying in
Some
bed
people
in
choose
silence, and your brain
isolation
does
to learn
things
about isolation.
that keeps you
As
awake.
we prepare to explore other planets, we're faced with
And all you want to
a little
do is
issue.
pass out.
Stuff in outer space is really, really far apart within our own solar system. Even a trip to Mars would take months in each direction. That's a long time to spend cut off from the rest of humanity, stuck in a tiny spaceship. To get ready for those
Humanity.
journeys, we have subjected some people to extreme conditions here on Earth. In 1989, a young Italian interior designer named Stefania Fellini volunteered for a NASA experiment to help study the effects of isolation associated with space travel. She spent 130 days alone in a plexiglass cell in a cave 30 feet underground.
She's
in
got
New
stuff with her
Mexico.
though.
In the absence of
Like books and
timepieces
things.
and any sign of day or night, Miss Fellini's body was thrown out of whack. Her menstrual cycle stopped, and her sleep-wake cycle changed radically. She tended to stay awake for 20 to 25 hours at a time,
Same.
sleeping about 10 hours.
Not
When
the
she
same.
finally emerged, she mistakenly believed she'd only been underground about half as long as she actually had. As difficult as Stefania's experience was, at least she had books to read. In my isolation chamber, I will only have white walls to stare at.
Cool. I want to do this test, man.
Alone time.
I'm ready.
What a pleasure.
Let me do
Checking
it.
out, getting away from
You
it
can
all.
stream it even, I don't care.
Relaxing. Banishment from society, the silent treatment, solitary confinement. Solitude isn't always nice.
Isn't always nice,
What
but
happens when isolation
some
is
of us
not
do it
voluntary?
quite frequently.
William Brown has first-hand knowledge of solitary confinement.
So William, how much of your life have you spent in prison?
Probably like 16 years.
It's like almost half your life.
Yeah, basically almost half my life. Because I went to jail when I was 18, armed bank robbery.
Damn, dude.
This right here, this was my home off and on.
That seems long for armed
about 2
bank robbery.
years. The whole.
What was the longest stretch of consecutive time?
It was like
isn't-
5 months total.
I'll tell you what really
Fuck.
amazes me. This feels so much worse than a jail cell. This doesn't have
that's-
bars letting in light.
That's not
or
even a bed.
view.
That's like a
Not at
concrete
all.
slab.
Would you have a mattress at least?
That would be the only thing in this particular cell. That would be the only thing in here. You would just have a mattress, and
Is that a
other than
mattress? It looks
you
like a
would have
concrete
nothing
step.
More. This light will constantly stay on, So there will be, you know...
That
it's
light's
hard
always
sleep.
on.
That light is always
Even
on.
at night.
Even at night, that light is always on. You're left in here with your thoughts, and that's it.
You'll be thinking about that bank robbery for the rest the entire time you're in there.
Like facing the corner or facing out?
No, I would face out, and I would just sit and just concentrate on breathing. You don't know, it's like you're in limbo. And you never know when they're gonna open the door. I've known guys that have served consecutive years inside this same little box.
How does that change them?
Is it a sink or a
It
toilet?
scars them for life.
Really?
Yeah.
This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put myself in a room like one of these, and I won't have a clock.
Anything at all.
No way to tell time. What I'm nervous about is when that door closes, the awareness, the sudden awareness of how much time I have.
See, that's the thing about it. Because once this door right here closes, it's like, it's final. This is almost a coffin.
Really?
He's scared. He's shitting himself a little
Even more
bit.
extreme than isolation from other people is isolation
But
from
he's only
other
doing 3
people
days. Like
and
that dude did 5
stimuli.
months.
That's what I'm going to be doing inside this room.
It must be so exciting when the guards come with food 3 times a day, like the breakfast, lunch, and
This is
dinner.
about as boring as a room
Because something's
can
actually
get.
happening, you know?
It's soundproof, and this light will never turn off. I do have a small bed, but there will be no interruptions. I will have no way to tell what time it is. No meals will be delivered because all the meals are inside the room
that's
already.
smart.
White containers
I was about to
of
say.
Soylent. I do have
Did he say Soylent? Why do I find that so funny? Is it people? Oh no, it's Soylent White. It's not Soylent Green. Crisis over. It's fine.
plenty of water, and I have a wash basin with a white bar of soap, and I've got myself a tiny little
See,
toilet.
that's clever because I was
There's
about to
nothing
say
do but be
the
completely
3 meals a day
alone
thing would
with
give away
myself
the
and my
passage of
thoughts.
time.
Now, psychologists say that fewer than 3 days in a room like this can lead to brain damage. I will be staying in this room for 3 days, a full 72 hours.
So I'm going to take your vitals first.
He's going to
Michael
come
is
out of there with
basically
blood
turning himself
pressure,
into a lab rat.
with a new blood pressure
What we want to
problem.
do is see what might change with Michael before and after his time in isolation. What's going to happen to his blood pressure, what's going to happen to his pulse, his basic reflexes.
Are there actually any medical concerns you would have? I'm just going to be in this room.
You got a really bright light on there. The circadian rhythm, which is your natural wake and sleep cycle, is going to be completely disrupted by this really bright light. And once your circadian rhythm gets off, a lot of other things fall apart. Hormone cycles, cognitive ability, metabolic processes. So, you know, it's kind of like you're giving yourself jet lag.
Oh, great.
I think it's important to
Giving yourself jet
test
lag is a
his
really good
cognitive ability
analogy.
to gauge any mental decline that might happen during his 72 hours of isolation. Let's try the reaction time.
Okay, this is pretty fun. Can I bring this into the room with me? So, what's going to happen to my brain in there?
Well, one of the issues that
It will turn into a
might worry me
cauliflower,
is
basically.
how calm versus neurotic you might be.
Good luck.
Where would you put yourself on that spectrum?
Closer to neurotic, I mean, yeah.
And so I wonder if that might be amplified.
That is how my brain will work. It'll
Right, of course.
snowball. I'm scared. I'm not going to be able to deal with the monotony and the lack of a sense of time, and I'm going to have a panic attack.
In an extreme situation, people can have massive hallucinations, be dissociated from reality.
I mean,
have
is a panic
tremendous
attack really that
anxiety,
bad, though?
psychotic
Like,
types of episodes.
lay down and breathe
Marty,
through it. You'll be
Jake.
fine soon enough.
I'm going to be gone for 3 days.
The danger signs to look out for are extreme agitation, where it doesn't appear that he's aware of his own agitation. That's when I think I might intervene.
I'm not worried for him physically. Like, I think he's, you know, he's safe in there. But I think he's going to struggle in there. He's going to be really bored.
Oh, his wife.
I love you.
I've never seen his wife before.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Can you take her in with you? That'll give you something to do for 3 days. Or someone to do for 3 days. Hey! Hey-oh! Where's my air horn sound effect button? I need to make that.
Forgot to ask what time it was when I came in.
He's always doing something, reading something, talking to someone. He already looks really bored. And
It's true though, like, I do keep myself very, very busy. Like, I'm always doing stuff.
72 hours.
This almost seems like it would be a mental vacation.
A bunch today. Normally when I change into more comfortable clothes,
Like an excuse to just do or think about nothing for a bit.
I'm
tired,
lay
man.
down and then I pick up my phone or I pick up a book.
I'm tired
or
of all the things that I gotta do.
I don't have that.
If he succeeds in going to sleep for any length of time that's substantial, it's going to be interesting to see what time he thinks it is when he wakes up.
Right.
They should have not given him any blankets. So there's no way for him to avoid the light. Or like towels and things.
I was able to sleep. And I woke up maybe 1 or 2 times in the night. So I think it's probably, 8 a.m. Thursday morning. Maybe closer to 9 a.m. I guess I should have some breakfast.
Some Soylent? What the hell is Soylent? What's in that bottle?
I've known Michael for 3 years, and I've never seen him do a push-up.
He's getting fit now. Of course, why would you not?
ZYXWVUTSRQPONMLK.
I think he's come up with some good ideas for mental stimulation. I wonder if as time goes by, he's going to come
could
up with
not
some
do the
more
alphabet
creative ones, or
backwards.
he's going to start to get
No
less
way.
creative.
I've done 200 steps now, 8 more hundreds to go, and I'll be at 1,000.
Why is it that so many people turn to counting to stay sane when they're in these isolated environments?
Well, our minds want to remain active. They're naturally active. The
You're
healthiest
very
people who survive
pessimistic.
in
You
these types
lowball all the
of
time.
environments will do something.
Yeah, that does help.
Stimulate. They'll count. They'll sing.
Lowballing it
they'll do
does
physical
help
exercise.
because then you're out quicker than you'd expect to be.
99, 100, 300 steps. And then some change that I just took right there. That's just a little bonus for my body, for my health.
Start doing. Oh, that's not going to help. Do handstand push-ups against the wall.
It's amazing how hard it is to tell what time of day it is just based on your body. I think it's about 7 or 7:30 p.m. on Thursday.
Nope. He's way
I think
off.
I'm gonna have dinner now.
He's already quite off on his perception of time.
I was actually surprised at how quick that happened.
I was too.
You know, if you're using hunger as your gauge, that's out the
He
window
wasn't
too,
off
because
when he
the
woke
shifts in
up by
hormones
that
are
much.
going to change your appetite. You know, they look at lab rats who have had their
He was like
circadian
4
rhythm
a.m. and he
destroyed,
guessed
they
he guessed
overeat.
8. But by the time it was 11 a.m., he thought it was like
At the
7
moment,
p.m.
I'm
He
feeling
way off.
Bored, but obviously nothing dramatic. If I had to guess, it would be 24 hours now since I first came in. 1 day down, 2 to go.
If he gets a full sleep cycle in, he'll wake up not knowing where he is.
Right.
Good morning.
Morning. It's 4:50 p.m.
I don't know if I slept for 8 hours or if I slept for 3. If you think it's bedtime, it is. So long as you go to bed. If you think it's breakfast time, it is. If you're having breakfast. What am I looking forward to the most?
You better be careful not to overdo it with the
seeing
food and the water.
My family and friends. It's not even that I want a meal. It's actually that I just want to have a meal with people. I just want to talk to some people. I just want some other words coming into me than the ones that come out of my own mouth.
He enjoys sharing things with people, and to have no one, just nothing coming back for 3 days might be difficult.
I am the only person I'm hanging out with.
I can't wait till he thinks it's been 3 days.
Part of your brain is generating some
He's
kind
gonna be
of
so
companion
confused
that
why
you
he's
converse
still in
with.
there.
I think having you here makes a big difference.
You know, he's entertained himself in a sense, talking to the camera, and that's been helpful for him. It's
Mhm.
really kept him cognitively aware.
I just feel like I've really lost all connection.
You
to
could do that in
time.
solitary confinement
But
in prison, though,
guessing
too.
It's
Pretend there's a camera on the
8
wall
PM?
and keep talking to it like you're on a reality TV
maybe
show.
9 p.m. on Friday.
You'd look crazy, but
A good time to get some shut-eye when there's not much else to do.
you know what sounds really nice, though? It's not very, but conceptually what sounds very nice. The thing he said about when it's time for bed, it's bedtime. When it's time to eat, it's time to eat. Like, we always have to fit into this framework of breakfast, lunch, dinner. Bedtime is around about here. Around about here is when you're supposed to wake up. The idea that, like, of living a life where you simply sleep when you're tired, or you simply eat or drink when you feel like your body needs it, like, it almost sounds like freeing. Like, it sounds like it's a way of detaching completely from, like, the construct of how our lives are designed to work, the way society is meant to function. And it's probably more like how it worked back before societies existed, when things were tribal, more like the cavemen living in caves in the forest and stuff. It's like, there's no reason for any kind of rigid structure. It's outside of, like, we've caught food, we're hungry, we're going to eat food. You know what I mean? The idea almost relaxes me in a way, but when you put it in the context of, you know, deprivation, though, it's not quite as sexy. Like, he has no choice but to sleep when he's tired or eat when he's hungry, because there's no idea when to do it anyway.
Saturday, the day I get out.
So his dissociation with the actual time has doubled now.
Right. He wakes up and there's this bright light, and he's thinking, oh, it must be morning.
I've spent a lot of time being entertained by my
So he's at least a full day off
I'm
and
thinking
a
of the
bit.
people and the places and the events and how I miss them and how I treasure those moments. And there's a sort of cinema in my brain, a cinema of those memories that's kept me from being very bored. So I think it's 8 p.m. on Saturday. So in about a couple hours, I should see that door open.
He's not even close.
Holy
and
shit.
I wonder how he's going to respond to that.
He's going to be very disappointed. But the thing is, he has no idea how far off he is as well. So in a way, he won't be that disappointed
I don't
yet.
think I'm going out today. A fear I have right now is that it's just Friday. And that there's
Yep.
still a lot of time left.
You know what would really fuck with your brain?
There were other times during this that I was definitely more zen about everything.
There'd be a
Now
part
I'm
of you
upset.
that'd be in fear of, like, what if nobody opens that door? Like, what if the apocalypse has happened outside and I didn't know about it, and there's nobody left, so I have no idea if I'll ever get out of here? And then you'd kind of go crazy and try to break your way out, I guess, but which I'm sure wouldn't be hard, because this wasn't meant to be a literal cell. Like, I'm sure if he wanted to break out, he could. He's just not going to, because that's the point of the show. But you don't know what's happening out
I can't
there.
believe the color of the light isn't changing. In the mornings, when I wake up, it's so much more yellow.
Without some type of stimulation, the mind wants to stimulate itself anyway and will begin to hallucinate and begin to play all sorts of tricks.
Absolutely.
My thoughts are really incoherent. It's hard for me to even to remember what I just thought. 7:12, 7:13, 7:14, 7:15, 7:15, 7:16, 7:17, 7:18.
In a way, our brains are kind of a use it or lose it thing. He's going to have a definite decrease in his cognitive ability, a decrease in his overall sense
He's
of
starting
well-being.
to rock back and forward while cross-legged. He's starting to look like a crazy person.
How many bottles of water have I drank? Is there one more laying around here that I've lost? Because there are only 6 here. But then down here...
Oh shit, he got that really wrong.
Did I...
I feel like it's the brain almost definitely
All of the dreams
wants
I've
to
had
believe
I
that
remember have been about
there's
this
not 6
room.
bottles, so that
It's been
he
about
has
me
something to
being in
preoccupy
this
himself
room
with, like
and
figuring out where the
about-
bottles went.
He wakes up and he's in the room, and it's difficult for him to discern the difference between reality and dreaming sometimes. So that's a real dissociation for him.
SRQ. LMNOP.
I actually feel kind of worried about him now because when he first went in there, he was like bored like someone waiting for a bus, you know. Now he looks actually depressed.
He looks crazy. He looks like someone in a mental asylum.
It's really unique.
Door opens
It's
from
not
both
a kind of
sides.
soap I've ever used before, and I really dislike the smell. And I keep smelling it because it's just sitting there.
No, they let him out after the actual
Clearly,
3 days,
Michael
which
isn't-
is why he's so confused, because his own perception of how long it's been, when he thought it was about 3 days and he was going to get let out, was like only half the time. It was only like a day and a half. So now he's completely out to sea because he's got no idea what day or night it is.
Not happy right now. He looks like, you know, on
He
the
thought he
border
did.
of misery.
I think because he was timing it by whenever he went to bed and when he woke up, and he was assuming that days or nights were passing with the sleep periods, and he was way off on those. What was that one where he woke up? When he woke up at 4 a.m. thinking it was 8 a.m., and by the time he thought it was 7 to 8 p.m. at night, it was still only 11 a.m., and then from then on it just went way out of whack. You can't trust your body's own sleeping rhythms. It'll just
really
up and fuck you.
Aggravated by how uncomfortable I am. This seems like a very, very long 3 days.
It just died.
He was just laying
he's
there.
insane
when I walked
now.
in, I thought he'd be, you know, sitting on the bed.
He's gonna start
you know,
eating his own
this
skin.
was something he wanted to do, but I expected him to be bored, terribly bored. But I thought he'd still be talking and trying to entertain
He's
himself.
run out of things to say. It would fuck with your sleeping as well, because there's no stimuli during the day for your dreams to latch onto in
It
terms
seems
of like giving you
Michael
visual
woke
feedback
up
while you're
from
unconscious.
Some kind of
There's nothing to
dream.
dream about while you're unconscious, because it's
He looks
just
confused.
white wall room. Like, your dream state needs that period to go over data. You know what I mean? It's like part of your process. But if there's no data, then what does that do to the unconscious state that is expecting to dream and to have data to go through? He's thinking about leaving.
He's not enjoying this. He wants out of there.
He almost considered just bailing on the thing. Oh, he is.
I don't think he can see us.
You're cheating. I wonder if he's thinking what I said earlier. Like, is there still anybody out there to let me out? Or has an apocalypse occurred while I was in this room?
Well, I guess not. I guess I just dreamt it.
His mum's not handling this well. I'm not sure if they should have brought her in for this. It's kind of cruel.
I am so...
Watch us torture your son psychologically. Have fun. These doctors are riveted though. Just emotionlessly riveted. In the dream it already ended. Yeah, see, that's what I was thinking, because if your dreams have no data to go on, it only has this. So you very easily just dream about being in the room, and then you wouldn't know the difference when you wake up, and you'd have to think about it for a while.
It's 72 hours, Michael. You can come out.
All right, I'm coming out.
Oh, he looked excited when he jumped up.
Hey.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh,
very
it's
much.
bright in there.
It's really bright in there. I hadn't really noticed, but now that you mention it.
Congratulations.
Hey, that knock scared me.
Did it startle you?
Yeah. Every little noise has been startling me.
Okay. You seem very with it right now.
It's excited energy by coming out. At first I thought it was that I want to communicate, but actually I need this direction too. Even if it's just nods and stuff, that's so much better.
Let me just check your vitals before.
Won't
you
his
see your
vitals be jacked up from the excitement of having come out of the
155
room,
over
though?
95. So that's quite a jump in your blood pressure.
Like his heart would be beating like crazy coming out.
Your pulse is also higher. I think that's because you're excited to be out. I think
Oh,
this
well,
is
that's
a
what I-
huge
yeah.
rush. I'm interested to see now how you do with some of the more cognitive tests.
318097272.
There you go. I would say you did actually a little bit better this time.
Oh wow, okay.
Although we had hypothesized you would be worse at all of these tests, I think the rush of adrenaline that you got from finally being out and being able to communicate actually had you more focused, more aware, and that's why you performed better. I find
Yeah,
it
his brain is
interesting
excited
that
to
the
get
test you
stimulus
did
right now.
The worst on is probably the most to do with the use of the verbal language, and you've had definitely a lack of that over the last 72 hours.
It was just me with myself for 3 days. It was only me.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good.
Oh,
Yeah, your
good.
mother
I missed
cried.
you. Let me say hi to my mom.
Y'all tortured that lady.
Oh,
Glad you survived that.
in the room, I was fine being alone. This is where I've been living.
And now
But
part 2 of the
then, near
test.
the
We lock
end,
my mother in
as
the
I
room
started
without her
to
knowing we were going to do
anticipate
it.
coming out and being able to talk
We'll be
to
back in
people
3
and
days, Mom.
share
Good
my
luck.
experience, I realized how important that was. If you only have your own experiences, you're not fully having them. You have to have someone else to listen to them and react to them, and then you've fully experienced them. Anyway, I've moved. I don't live there anymore.
Yeah, he doesn't want to go back in there.
When I was in isolation, I was surprised most by two things. How easy it was to be separated from distractions like entertainment and phones, and how difficult it was to be separated from things we humans evolved alongside, the Earth and other people. I was amazed by how uncomfortable, confusing, and scary
Yeah,
it
that's why
was
it's-
to have nothing but myself.
It's psychologically
You know, I used to be a
draining
really
on
big fan of the
astronauts.
saying, "He who travels fastest travels alone." I think I liked it because it made me feel better about how I preferred to be independent and to be left to my own devices. But now I appreciate the full phrase better. It may be true that he who travels fastest travels alone, but he who travels furthest travels with others. And as always,
Oh, the camera's leaving.
thanks for watching.
Bye. Why is the set on the roof?
This season on Minefield.
I don't even know what it's next season. What's the thing about astronauts? Yeah, because like astronauts, it'll be like one person in a capsule in space, separated from people and the Earth, just like what he just said. So like, when they come back to Earth, they generally go through like a process, like a debriefing process, where they're monitored for several days and like tested and stuff. Not just for like health and physical reasons, but you know, like it can take a toll on you mentally to go through that. Especially some astronauts are up there for a while. You've got to really be careful of that aspect of it. The danger is not just running out of oxygen, getting sucked out into the void. Or some venom symbiote discovering you and hosting your body. That is also a possibility. I want to hug this guy so hard. He's so generous for making his free time and even trying this experiment. I truly feel bad for him. Man, he's making a lot of money from doing this stuff. Huh. What, 31 million views, wow.
Hey,
Stop. Don't do the Vsauce thing to me. How much did he get out of Minefield? Was it just three seasons. The last season was 4 years ago. So Minefield basically went on until the pandemic started. Yeah, the first episode of the first season was 6 years ago. The final one was 4 years ago. Interesting. I feel like I've forgotten something that I was leading up to before we went on that massive tangent. Oh my God. Are We There, God? It's Me, Margaret. The movie made about the young women going through puberty thing that I was talking about. The one that they made fun of in Deadpool. That's what I was going to do. Good Lord, I was setting that up a while ago. That tangent was fucking all around the block. I don't think anyone's ever adapted this before. See, people know about the Deadpool joke because the very third comment. You read the title in Deadpool's voice. Some people even thought this was going to be the secret teaser trailer of Deadpool 3. Linking back to the joke from Deadpool 1. Okay, cool. Obviously, I've never read this book because it's not really... I'm not the target market for this. But I'm curious about the film. "50 years, this book. I didn't realize it was that old. I knew it was a classic, but...
Are you there, God? It's me, Margaret.
I'm here to speak to you today about your changing bodies.
The blood is released through the vagina.
Oh.
Please.
All the kids didn't like that.
One thing for me. Let me just be normal and regular like everybody else. Just please, 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 please.
What I feel, I can't say.
I've decided I want you to join my secret club. If you want to be in the club, then you have to wear a bra.
Oh. You think you need one?
Are you okay? You can tell me the truth.
Roasted. Roasted by Mum.
Yes, we have the Campus Improvement Committee. Any volunteers? Social Committee, Fundraising Committee. And how are you?
I read that when you don't have any loved ones around, your life expectancy drops drastically, but you know, I've had a good run.
Seems wholesome.
Gets tiring. Trying so hard all the time, doesn't it?
I mean, I was led to believe that the book
I don't know if I want to do this.
was always
Just
fairly
that we're ready.
blunt
Please,
and to
God,
the
let it be a
point.
lady.
Oh, no.
Do you think any of us will look like that when we're 19?
We must increase our butts.
Doesn't work. Having eating a lot of chicken that's pumped full of hormones might actually do something though. I heard that actually could be a thing. The biggest tragedy the blip caused was taking away the adorable father-daughter performance Paul Rudd and Abby Ryder had in the Ant-Man movies. Oh, that's the little girl from the Ant-Man movies. Really? Damn, I didn't actually recognize her. Cool. Also, that is kind of sad that the snap took away the daddy-daughter thing dynamic. Although his relationship with the teenage daughter seems to be a thing in Ant-Man 3, if you'd watch the trailer. There's going to be a bit of that. Introducing Abby Ryde Fortson. Bro, she's been in 2 Ant-Man movies. Starting 8 years ago. People know the girl. It's a bit late to introduce her. Although I think they do that when you're the lead. If you're the lead of a film for the first time, you're introduced. So many people in the comments are talking about the Deadpool thing. You know why you're in the comment section, Deadpool fans. I'm only here because of Deadpool, lol. 2006, Deadpool 2016 was expecting Deadpool in that dress. Ah, Deadpool reference. Deadpool cameo confirmed. Jesus Christ, man. We get it, guys. Who else saw this and thought of Deadpool? Here's one comment that just says Deadpool. Like, for real. Just the one word, Deadpool. And then this guy, what the fuck is this? Like, dude, get some culture. Learn some shit. Thanks, Deadpool. Yeah, there's at least like 30 comments about Deadpool alone. Wow, that must really annoy the creator of the book and maybe the film director as well. It's really hijacked its thunder. Anyway. Neat. I would see it just to get the gist of what the book's about without actually having to read the book. That's really the beginning and end of my interest in that. What next? I've got pretty much, as far as films go, I've only got 3 things left, and it's stuff that I'm not sure what they are. Polite Society, Husura the Bone Woman, Underbug. The Underbug? Ali Faisal Hussein. It might be a foreign film. Okay. The name is intriguing though, so Slam Dams Film Festival. Indie European film, maybe? With a really cool name. I don't know what Underbug means, but I'm biting. I'm a fish on the hook. I swear to God, so many filmmakers are inspired to make a movie simply from finding a really cool tree and then going, man, that would make some good cinematography. I'm opening a film with that tree. Now I just need a script. Last week I watched the trailer that basically had that.
इंसान इंसान को मार के भूत को पैदा किया।
दो समुदाय के बीच बढ़ते तनाव की वजह से पुलिस ने कर्फ्यू ऑर्डर जारी कर दिया है। नागरिकों से निवेदन है कि घर के बाहर ना निकलें।
Is this post-apocalyptic? I don't think so.
कौन है तू?
There's radio
तिलक है कि
still.
टोपी है? दरवाजा कब बंद किया?
अगर नहीं है ना लड्डू।
देख जब तक तेरे को मालूम नहीं मैं कौन, मेरे को मालूम नहीं तू कौन, तब तक तू भी सेफ, मैं भी सेफ।
तेरे को लगता है तू सेफ है?
So it's the fall of society in some way, rioting in the streets.
सामने आ जाओ, वरना काटेंगे तेरे को।
Man versus man.
हवा से आएगा आवाज।
पायल का आवाज हवा से आएगा।
जब वो लोग अपनी जिंदगी की भीख मांग रहे थे, गिड़गिड़ा रहे थे ना,
बहुत मजा आता
Holy shit.
पहला मर्डर कब किया?
13 साल का था मैं।
मादर चोद भड़काने वाले वो दंगे में नहीं आते।
I think it's a bottle film. Between two guys that may or may not want to kill each other in a house.
तू मानता है ऊपर वाले में भूत में
The underbug. I wonder if that's a slang term for someone that's like living on the underbelly of society. Because both those guys seem like bottom feeders, and now they have to deal with each other, hiding in this one house together. Maybe it's because everything outside is so fucked up. This is like a good place to hide, but now they have to deal with the fact that both of them are trying to hide there, and they don't know if they can trust each other. But they both are actually kind of fucked up in their own right. So either one might kill the other at any moment. The IGN logo isn't big enough. You're right. I just realized how big that watermark is. They don't need the IGN logo watermarked onto the video because YouTube already puts the little IGN logo in the same corner. You're just doubling up on watermarks. Okay, there's some really kind of racist people in the comments. There's one guy just goes, boring. This guy goes, how do they expect us to take this seriously when they speak Bollywood? The fuck does that mean? Great. Hold up. Good reply, though. How do you expect us to take you seriously when you speak bigotry? Got him! This movie comes with tech support and a Punjabi virus. Damn, dudes! Do we have to be so racist to the Indian movie? They're legit trying to make a serious thriller here, and all you can do is hit it with the Bollywood stuff. I know most Indian movies are like 3 to 4 hours long and are full of dance sequences because Bollywood will Bollywood. But they don't have to do that. There's room for them to make more traditional Western vibe movies within the exploitation genres, if they want. I kind of want to make one. I kind of want to make a film in India. I think it'd be kind of tight. They got a good work ethic over there. You'd finish that film in no time. Cool. I dug it. Okay. Huasera the Bone Woman. All three of these might be foreign, now that I think about it. I somehow left all three of these till last. By pure chance. Whoop. Shudder. Okay, it's horror. Shudder doesn't distribute anything unless it's freaky in some way. Ew. Hate children.
Felicidades. Ya se te estaba pasando el tren. ¿Estás contenta? Feliz. ¿Y eso que no te gustan los niños? Que no te truenes los dedos, Valeria. Vas a quedar chueca.
This is not a horror movie about pregnancy. Oh my god.
Lo que te está pasando es de lo más normal. Cuando uno se convierte en mamá, siente que se está partiendo en dos. Y espérate al parto. Literal, sientes que se te parten los huesos.
I think she cracked her knuckles too far. This is trippy. Wow. Considering I just watched that Baby Ruby trailer, it's kind of a weird coincidence that 2 films in a row tonight, not in a row, but 2 films tonight were basically about the horror of childbirth. But fuck knows what that's actually about. I'm just guessing. There's a lot to do about having that baby, but then also a lot about bones. Something about bones breaking. Always about the bone theme. What a freak show. Unlike the Baby Ruby one, though, I can't quite put my finger on what it is they're trying to say with this one. There seemed to be more straightforward horror going on there. Except using the whole pregnancy thing to throw everyone else off the trail that she's going mad or being tortured by some supernatural entity. And then we're just writing it off as pregnancy bullshit. This is Davos telling you don't have babies. Davos? Directed by Michelle Garza Cervera, the supernatural Mexican horror feature is led by Net. Oh, okay, it's Mexican. We've gone from Indian to Mexican. Let's check this director out. Hang on. Michael Garza Cervera. Sorry, not Michael. Michelle. Where did the Davos come from? What has she made? All just Mexican films that I've never heard of. Probably all original language stuff. Is the writer's name Davos? Nope. What the hell was this person talking about? This is Davos telling you don't have babies. Who the fuck is Davos? Only in Russia. Facepalm emoji. Dude, it's Mexican. Facepalm emoji. Yourself. Someone in the comments is like, Demon Baby again. Yes. Demon babies or the horror of childbirth seems to be popular at the moment. Okay. All right, the third one. Polite Society. We've had a Mexican and an Indian. Let's see what this one is. Rup. This one might also be Indian, judging by the cast names.
I'm Rhea Khan. I am going to be a stunt woman.
Cool.
My sister Lena is the only person who believes in me.
Want to help me with a vid for my channel?
She helps me with all my training.
You are going to be such a great stunt woman.
Sweet.
That was dope though.
But lately, she's been seeing this guy, who I think is a bit of a smarmy wanker. You know, it's a trap.
Oh my god, Rhea, chill out.
Now, I'm not being dramatic.
Soundtrack
but
slaps
these
though.
People are evil.
Oh, I get it
found
now.
something.
Polite Society.
I've got my eye on you.
The rich
They
and
are
affluent.
not taking her away without a fight.
I will
They always
strike
come
down
off like
you
that.
or anyone else who tries to get in my way.
Oh, but there's actual evil
How
shit
about the
going on?
bikini area?
Let's dance.
We need to get Lena
Wild.
out. How? Mischief is afoot.
Lena's not going anywhere. You little bitch.
She was in Miss Marvel in the TV show. Disney Plus.
Mom, what are you doing?
Why couldn't the stepmother do martial arts?
We stick to the plan. Nothing changes.
We are going to show Lena who these people really are.
Let's decimate this
Did you see my kick? Of course I bloody did. It was magical.
You can't say this is not original. This is mad original. Also, like, I wonder if it'd be hard for a young, like, Pakistani girl to make it in the stunt industry, because how many action characters could she double as? The field would be pretty small. Like, white men get it pretty easy in the stunt industry because, like, every action movie is full of white men, both as the action hero and as all the henchmen. But a scrawny, short little Pakistani girl, there's not going to be much in the way of characters for you to double in the action. Maybe that's why it's good that something like this is being made. Like, the fact that a movie about this exists means that there is so many action roles in this one movie alone for stunt women of her size and race. Cool. With this in the background, my Has 4 extraction is feeling different. What's a Has 4 extraction? Oh, hazard level 4. Deep Rock Galactic. I get you. I haven't played Deep Rock Galactic in a few months. I don't think I've ever officially made it back from a Hazard 5. I should actually message my my friends that I play that with our group and see if they want to play again in the near future and see if we can go for an actual successful Hazard 5. Just to say we've done it at least once. The Lunar Festival is going currently. Oh, is that like event stuff going on with the game? That was cool. I might send that to some people. Oh shit. That wasn't the last trailer that I had saved on the side. I completely missed this. There's a new Batman animated film coming out. 2 days ago the trailer came out. Batman, The Doom That Came to Gotham from Warner Bros. Entertainment. Those DC animated films used to do really well, but I kept seeing the last couple getting bad reviews, so it felt like they were dropping off. At least they're not stopping making them. They're keeping it going. Alright, let me check this out, because even though I haven't seen the last couple since they started getting bad reviews, I'm still curious as to what this one's about. They never fail to come up with ways to make more movies about Batman. You get Lunar New Year themed hats, credits, materials, Matrix cores. Every mission gives double performance points if you can find the Golden Rabbit collectible. Oh wow, that's more stuff than I expected. I like the sound of double points. That's neat. All right. I wonder if Batman: The Doom That Came to Gotham is based on a graphic novel. One of the arcs from the comic books. What's so quiet?
Doom. The great doom
It's not
is
too
coming.
bad.
The sins of the father are heaped upon the son.
There's a knight? What is happening?
You have no clue the power this book possesses.
Got the Necronomicon?
I know.
Cool.
Those who seek it mean to do this city harm.
Before it can be truly saved,
Gotham must be burned.
This is more supernatural stuff than I expected from a Batman story.
Dead folks, reptile plagues, it's not natural.
It's a cult that has long ties to Gotham.
Whoa, man.
Spirit, we come to us now.
I can't pretend to know exactly what I'm about to face, but I do know that I must stop it.
We mean to give this city purpose and honor the damnation which bore it.
The knight with a bow and arrow.
Mercy.
What did this?
Master Bruce, what's happening to you?
What needs to happen?
Like, I've been aware of cults and stuff in Batman before, but for it to be a full, like, religious, culty, supernatural time travel-y thing?
Hello, Bruce.
Can't be.
Daddy's back to life. It's kind of nuts, man. I don't know what to think of that. Holy shit. That just went nuts on me right there. Yeah, that was way more out there than I expected from I kind of like my Batman stuff a little bit more grounded, but the animation does give them the chance to go a little bit more out there, so they might as well, you know, do that shit. Let me just check if this actually has the Doom that came to Gotham. I don't know if this is actually from a story in the comics. Every mission is about 4K performance points. 4K. A 3-issue comic book miniseries published from November 2000 to January 2001. Okay, so it's an old 2000-2001 comic series that only went for 3 issues by Mike Mignola. That makes sense, because I'm pretty sure Mike Mignola is the guy that made Hellboy, right? Yep. So the Hellboy guy did his own, like, supernatural storyline for 3 issues in Batman. The story deals with an alternate Batman in the 1920s. Oh, holy shit. That is more off-canon than I expected. So it's a 1920s Batman. No wonder his outfit looked a bit more basic. Religious supernatural shit's taken over Gotham in the 1920s, and only steampunk Batman can do anything about it. The story is full of many Lovecraft-inspired renditions of both the Dark Knight's friends and foes, including Green Arrow, Two-Face, and Ra's al Ghul. The story's title is an allusion to Lovecraft's The Doom That Came to Sarnath. As someone who knows a few things about Lovecraft, I should have picked up on that. I've dropped the ball. Alright, cool. Got it. Dope. Exciting. Yeah, I might look into seeing if everyone wants to play Deep Rock at some point soon. So maybe I can jump on that stuff as well. Alright. Maybe it's getting to the point where I should start thinking about calling it a night, eh? Hasn't been a terribly long stream, but doesn't need to be. It's just a chill one. Doesn't really matter how long it goes for. Here's something I can watch as a send-off. Someone sent me a fan-made live-action Family Guy trailer as an 80s sitcom ripoff, made with AI-generated human versions of the Family Guy characters, and I think that looks really good from the thumbnail. Whoa, hang on. Alright, here it is. This should be good.
It's a rare condition this day and age to read any good news on the
That's a good Peter Griffin.
love and tradition of the
A much younger Lois than I expected.
some people say is even harder to find.
Chris Griffin looks like Chris Farley.
Well, then there must be some magic clue inside these
Stewie just looks like a normal baby, also it's Brian. Stewie and Brian are a bit boring. Cleveland is amazing. Quagmire. Okay, just disagree with Joe Swanson. That should just be Patrick Warburton. Just him. I guess it's an 80s interpretation though, so... God, the fucking newscaster. What's his name? Something Tucker? And I'm... Joe... What's his name? Ah! Hang on. Family Guy News Anchor. Tom Tucker. Holy, okay, Tom Tucker nailed it. As almost a I'm forgetting all the names tonight, but he looks like a very particular actor from the 70s. Shit. What was those cop TV shows he was in? I'm killing myself here. I wish I could. Oh, I wish I could remember his name. Like, if you look at this picture, you know who I'm talking about. 60s, 70s actor. Always had the stash. Is it Tom Selleck? Okay, I could see a bit of Tom Selleck in him. Not sure if that's who I was... I don't think that's who I was thinking of right off the bat. But Tom Selleck does fit. Oh, Tom Selleck fits. Burt Reynolds works as well. Yeah, so maybe older Tom Selleck. Yeah, totally. Tom Selleck was not the name that was on the tip of my tongue, though. I can't remember what it was. But that's kind of nailed it. That's perfect. Why does Quagmire look like Bruce Campbell in some of those shots? The chicken! Fucking chicken in live action is horrifying. They do change looks between, because I mean obviously the AI is doing this randomly per photo, so they are changing look. The dog and both Peter and Lois are different in that photo from the others. It's a bit disappointing seeing Stewie and Brian just look like any normal generic baby and dog, but everyone else looks dead on. Quagmire is so hilarious. There's something about seeing a version of Quagmire in live action, though, that is kind of off-putting. Because once you put him in live action, all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, you're a sex offender. All the weird, harassy, rapey stuff that is funny in the cartoon, it doesn't really fly in live action. It's a bit more uncomfortable. Alright. That was pretty funny. Okay, that's good. I'm gonna leave it at that then. I'm gonna go off and have a Cornetto ice cream at 2 in the morning because I'm an adult and I can do whatever I want, so you can't stop me. Good to see you again, Tanky. It's been a while. Good luck harvesting Deep Rock. I'll see if I end up getting on that in the next week or so. I'll look up what's going on with this Lotus thing. See how much time it's running for. See if I can be bothered jumping in on some of that. But in the meantime, ice cream for me. See you later.